Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to BT Murrayfield. A beautiful day here in Edinburgh, and the stadium ready to welcome the two teams who will contest the women's match in the long-awaited Varsity series between Edinburgh University and St Andrews University. Founder member clubs of the Scottish Rugby Union, the St Andrews a cappella group having serenaded the entry of the teams, and the teams are now going to be presented to the presentation party. Joining me in the commentary deck here at BT Murrayfield is Scotland internationalist, Scotland Sims cap Hannah Smith. Hannah, welcome. Your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be a good match. Obviously last year quite one-sided with Edinburgh pulling away, so St Andrews will probably have a lot to prove this year, but it should be quite exciting.
And in terms of how important the universities are to women's rugby, they are vitally important, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the girls in the Edinburgh team are involved with the Scottish academies and in the sort of extended Scotland squad, so that's great development for them, and it's great for them to bring that to the uni team and develop everyone else alongside them.
A lot of excitement around the women's game in Scotland at the moment, Hannah. Last season we obviously saw Scotland women win an away international in the Six Nations, and we've got Canada, who are a very strong side, at Scotstoun in November. So how are preparations going for that?
Yeah, really well. The girls are working hard. Obviously really exciting to be able to have games before the Six Nations to prepare, and you know, if we can play better teams more often, then obviously that's going to develop us even further. So yeah, everyone's quite excited about it.
Looking at the pitch here at BT Murrayfield, you've been lucky enough to play on this pitch a few times. It looks in fantastic condition, and the overhead conditions and such like. There's a bit of a wind gusting, but the conditions are perfect for a decent game today, I'd suggest.
Yeah, perfect conditions. Favourite one to play in, really. The pitch looks amazing, so it should be really, really good for the girls.
So the presentation party has there's the Edinburgh University team on your screen. As Hannah was saying, they won comfortably last year by 53 points to 5. And there are 4 players in the starting lineup who were involved in that game last year. Fullback Annie McKelvey, scrum half Rachel Law, their captain Nicola Howitt, and their number 8 Sally Stott. And there's the St Andrews team currently being presented to Dee Bradbury, the president of Scottish Rugby. Special day for both sets of players, and good to see the wee mascots involved as well. The presentation complete. Dee Bradbury with Lord Campbell of Pittenweem, the former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Ming Campbell. And we're going to pause now for the anthems.
Now please be upstanding if you can for the national anthem.
Scotland. The Corey's Great Folk Song, duly completed. Our referee today is Kelly Mitchell, and our assistants are Alex Haskett and Alex Pratt. And a fantastic occasion. The men's match kicks off at 4 o'clock, and we'll have coverage of that too here on Scottish Rugby TV. But attention now very much on the women's match. Edinburgh University will be attacking the north end of the stadium, and St Andrews will be going towards the railway end. How are you immediately before a game, Hannah? Are you somebody that needs a bit of hyping up, or are you quite calm and focused?
I get very, very nervous. Even now, I still get very nervous. So best not to talk to me.
Time for kick-off!
Both sets of supporters doing their best to create a decent atmosphere. And it will be St Andrews to kick off. And we're underway here in the Varsity match. And immediately it's Edinburgh Uni through Rachel Law. The pass retrieved by our halfback partner Roisin Holmes. Law just waiting for a support runner. The ball goes forward. Will the referee play an advantage here? She does. Immediately St Andrews through their experienced standoff Shan McGuinness. The ball goes out to Beth Tappenden, who played in the game last year. No advantage, rules referee Kelly Mitchell, and we'll have the first set piece of this women's varsity match. What sort of ball would St Andrews be looking for here, ideally, Hannah?
Yeah, they're hoping to get that quick ball and get that wide. I would say, get their wide channel runners running onto that.
And how about how they're lining up? Do you spot anything that might be on the cards from the way they're lining up?
Well, they've got two lines of attack, so they might opt to go in behind, have some dummy runners off 10 or off 12.
First duty, of course, is to win the ball safely from the scrum.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the red scrum cap at tight head for St Andrews is Jordan Cowles. Jordan, who's a third-year medical student, born in Slough. She's up against she's up against Anne Young. Against the head for Edinburgh, immediately giving width to the ball. That was Evie Gallagher. Gallagher from Stirling. Over halfway. Rachel Law feeds. Taken on by Taylor Hammond. Law finds Maela Manchip. Ball there again. It's fed out to Lucy Winter. Winter showing good pace. Links up. Oh, good tackle on the 22 there from St Andrews. Taken on by Ellis Martin. The hooker appearing in the first receiver channel. Law on the blind side. Lovely dummy. And she boshes the fullback. Has she made it to the line? Score given. Rachel Law with the opening try. We've played a minute and a half, and that was good continuity from Edinburgh, Hannah.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the ball alive really well there. Rachel's a scrappy wee thing, and she'll drive her legs really hard, so that was really good play from her. A really good spot.
Interesting seeing the hooker Ellis Martin taking the ball on as well in that 10 channel.
No, absolutely. Ellis is a good little player as well.
So Rachel Law having scored the try, and she's now going to attempt the conversion. Not quite got the legs. 2 minutes played here at BT Murrayfield, and Edinburgh University take the lead by 5 points to 0.
Score remains Edinburgh 5, St Andrews 0.
So an early score for Edinburgh. How important is it that St Andrews just get a bit of possession now and try and go through a few phases?
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to keep the ball. There's a bit of nerves going on there, I think, with a couple of knock-ons already. So hopefully they can drive it forward and get some possession.
Referee just reminding the St Andrews players. Oh, a little knock-on initially, was it? Yeah. So we'll have our second set piece of the women's varsity match, and an opportunity for Emily Jones, the St Andrews scrum half, who played in the game last year. Emily, a Canadian. She is a second year zoology and geography student. Good combination, zoology and geography. Better scrum for St Andrews. Jones feeds, McGuinness out into the midfield. Hint of a forward pass. Indeed, the referee rules it was a forward pass. But that was a better scrum ball there for St Andrews. And Edinburgh will have the scrum put in 7 metres or so inside their own half. As I say, the hybrid pitch here at BT Murrayfield looking in terrific condition, and the crowd, there's already a healthy crowd in the East Stand, and I'm sure it will increase as this game progresses. Pick up by Sally Stott. Here's Rachel Law. Law finding space. Ball goes out wide. Again, McGuinness looking very vigilant in defence. Now Edinburgh will be looking, I suspect, for some off the top ball if they could pinch it here, Hannah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see who St Andrews line out targets are. Mary Faulkner beaten to it by Maella Manchip. So against the throw, Rachel Law to Lucy Winter. Winter back inside to Sally Stott. Stott! Oh, absolutely demolishes the would-be tackle of Shona Parrott. And the England day forward looking very strong there. All against from against the throw at the line out, and from a defensive point of view, kind of difficult to line your player up there, right?
Yeah. She's such a big ball carrier for them as well. She's really aggressive, so very difficult to tackle.
Strong start then from Edinburgh University. We're just coming up to 6 minutes play. You see in the replay here, Sally Stott getting outside Emily Jones, and then a powerful fend to see off Shona Parrott. Conversion astray. 6 minutes played. Edinburgh University leading by 10 points to 0. So what do you say in the circumstances of St Andrews here trying to regroup and get back into the game, Hannah?
Yeah, it's early days. They just need to stay positive and keep the ball a bit longer than they have been. Defensively, they're looking sharp, but they just need to make sure they've got their name on and they know who their tackle is.
Collected by Ellie Jones for Edinburgh. Hands in the ruck was that. Quickly taken by Rosanna Curtis. McGuinness into the 22. Goes past Ellis Martin. Referee, I think, is playing advantage. It's out to Amy Parry, the St Andrews captain. Here we go. Jones digging for the ball. I think that was a not 10 retreating. Unfortunately, St Andrews need to take the penalty from where the referee is. So Emily Jones taps, taken on by Amy Parry, the captain. Jones again. Here's McGuinness. Oh, powerful tackle there from Lily Dibb-Fuller in the Edinburgh midfield. Jones goes right then left. Looks as if Edinburgh have turned over. Manship again, the French under-20 internationalist. Rachel Law taps, looking for support runners. Taken on by Stott. Stott to Dibb-Fuller, up to the halfway line. Organised. It's Lucy Winter. Did the ball go forward from Ellis Martin? It did. So once again, Edinburgh looking really alert to the chances of quick counter off turnover ball there, Hannah.
Yeah, Rachel's really upping the intensity of it and making her way through and stepping and dummying, and it's bringing the intensity to that game, so it's really good.
Rachel, who's part of the Fosrock Scottish Rugby Academy, younger sister to Scotland scrum half Sarah, and she looks quite a talent.
Yeah, she's a very good little player.
Slight stoppage. Don't think it's anything of any great concern. So we're coming up to 10 minutes played. Edinburgh University leading by 10 points to 0. And we're ready, I think, to resume. Referee just making sure that St Andrews players are okay, and she's satisfied. So we'll get back underway with this scrum. 35 metres out from the St Andrews line. It's Emily Jones, 19-year-old, feeding. Scrum under pressure, but Jones does well. It was Rhiannon Fox-Rothwell, who's an experienced player for St Andrews. She captained the side last year. But it's just the knack of keeping hold of possession right now, Hannah, isn't it?
Yeah, they did really well off that scrum. That was quite a strong scrum and they managed to get the ball away. But yeah, it's just that lack of consistency with retaining the ball.
We should say that we would expect Edinburgh, just with the level of experience in their side, to be the stronger team here. But it's important that the game is competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, and St Andrews certainly have a good few runners who are quite strong in the tackle as well, so they should be trying to retain the ball a bit more than they are at the moment.
St Andrews going to their bench early. And Rachel Law from Sally Stott onto the blind side. St Andrews ready for that particular ploy. Thinking about a tap penalty and indeed going for it. Jones, McGuinness. That's the 10-metre line there. Tackle offence or hands in the ruck, so it's Edinburgh looking to run through Roisin Holmes. Law feeds. It's Ellis Martin, another teenager. She's a sports science student, filling in at scrum half. Taken on by Dib Fuller. Parrott makes the tackle. Support from Jenny Menday. Law feeds. Wide pass from Holmes. Here's a chance in the corner. Did Phoebe Drew make it? No. Good defence there from St Andrews, Hannah.
Yeah, very good defence.
Maybe the pass was just a wee bit too aerial for her.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Phoebe Drew there. In fact, I beg your pardon, that was Jess McClintock. Jess McClintock on the right wing for Edinburgh. Here's the replay. She had the hand ready for the handoff, but Parrott just got there in time. Edinburgh on the attack. Lucy Winter. It's Fox Rothwell making the tackle, trying to roll. She's sort of pinned in there, making the effort. What does the referee rule? Referee quite empathetic there, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the attacking scrum for Edinburgh. And a chance to add to their opening 2 tries. Sally Stott getting ready to bombard her St Andrews counterparts, but referee wants a reset scrum. Rachel Law ready to resume. That was a very quick heel. Sally Stott down the blind side. Has she made it? She has. And Sally Stott, as Hannah was saying, strong, powerful runner in for her second try.
Yeah, a real threat for Edinburgh.
So if you were up against Sally, what would you be doing? Looking to tackle really low, or?
Yeah, you have to go really low on people like her because she's got a really
Just
strong
the
fend,
replay.
and she's very, very strong in the tackle.
So the fend first of all,
Yep.
then through the tackle of
Try for Edinburgh,
McGuinness.
scored by number 8, Sally Scott.
And Sally Stott's second try, 15-0, 15 minutes played. St Andrews just having a confab behind the posts. And it's difficult under these circumstances, isn't it, to see how they can force their way into the game.
Yeah, I mean they are trying things with their backs, and they've got a good few runners. Their 10's quite aggressive in the tackle and quite good at spotting things in attack. But it's the ball retention that's killing them at the moment.
Edinburgh regather from the kick-off. Up to the halfway line. Law, Holmes, taken on by Manchip. One-handed offload. Winter. Now it's gathered. And pace from Annie McKelvey at fullback. Here's Law. He's taken on by the captain Nicola Howitt into the 22. Go Edinburgh. It's looking ominous here for St Andrews. was a forward pass. And a bit close to the referee to get away with it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. She has got a very good pass though, Roisin.
You played against her before, yeah?
No, but she's looking good today.
Yeah, Roisin Holmes, the Edinburgh University standoff, 5th year environmental chemistry student, former pupil of Cathkin High School. We've had a few set pieces so far. And referee just making sure the engagement sequence is followed. Again, Edinburgh getting a nudge on, the ball kind of spews out, and Emily Jones does very well. McGuinness. St Andrews managing to work the ball, give it a bit width. Parrott does well there. Jones. St Andrews trying to get a platform forward. Tappenden gives it to her front row colleague Cools. Here's Miriam Woods. Loose ball though. Chance for Edinburgh. It's Taylor Hammond, who played against Hannah in the Sarah Beanie Cup final on this pitch earlier this year. Law again. Sally Stott, unselfish pass. Did the ball go forward? It did. And perhaps Sally Stott might have been on for the hat trick there, Hannah.
Yeah, I think so. There's time yet.
I mean, the idea, I suppose, was good in that she was trying to be unselfish, but she probably would have had the physique to have gone herself.
Yeah. Or just taking it to deck and then getting that ball wide again.
Recycling, yeah. Because, I mean, there's maybe a tendency not to be patient in a situation like this.
Yeah, you definitely would get quite excited about being here, and it's quite a big occasion for them, so there will be a bit of that going on, I think.
Sure. Again, St Andrews scrum under pressure. So you're really just looking for a quick ball and away, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially that close.
So Beth Tappenden is the St Andrews hooker. 20-year-old. She's studying English. Born in Leeds. And let's see how she can do here. St Andrews trying to clear. Ball goes off Jess McClintock. Great follow-up tackling by Parrott. There's a double tackle by Shona Parrott.
A really good chase from her.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shona, who's former pupil at Douglas Academy in Mulgai. Now, time for defence again for St Andrews. Looks as if that's been held up, but managed to get to deck. Some of the close quarter defence has been good, Hannah, hasn't it?
Yeah, some good tackles going in.
Another one there on
really good clear on that ruck.
Fuller. Yeah. It's taken on again. Here's Ellis Martin.
Great feet from Ellis there.
Law to Holmes. Oh, acres of space, and it's a hat trick for Sally Stott. Good score.
Yeah, very good. Really good line.
Edinburgh's fourth try, third from number 8 Sally Stott. Conversion to come from Evie
that's
Gallagher,
unlucky.
but we'll draw veil over that one, I think. We've played 22 minutes. Edinburgh to the good by 20 points. Sally Stott, fourth year vet student. She's played, as we say, for England A and England under 20. Her dad played rugby league with Wigan Warriors, and her brother Sam plays for Preston Grasshoppers and captained the England Counties 15 in 2017. So, good day so far for Sally.
Yep, quite fruitful for her.
What's the tradition if you score a hat-trick in the women's game? Have you got to buy a jug for people?
Oh, you're not allowed to tell anyone.
No. Is that a wee secret, is it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, I'll not pry. I thought you were going to say it was going to be isotonic drinks all round.
Oh, absolutely. Water.
Yeah, water. Yeah, Highland Spring or Strathmore. Here we go. Sally Stott, keen for more as Law feeds Holmes. It was a good pass out of contact, though. At least the idea was good out of contact there. It's taken on by Nicola Howitt, the former Bill Baxter pupil. Hint of a forward pass. The referee's very good at these
Yeah, they're catching
marginal
them
passes,
yeah.
isn't she? There's a close-up of referee Kelly Mitchell. So without betraying any secrets then, Hannah, you've scored a hat-trick here, haven't you? At BT Murrayfield?
Yes, I have, yeah.
I thought I remembered that, yeah. For Hillhead Jordan Hill in the Sarah Beanie Cup final. That must have been a special moment for you.
That was a very good day, yeah. It's always exciting to be here, though.
So it would be a very quiet journey back along the M8
Yes,
after
yeah,
that, was it? Yeah.
yes.
Quiet and sober.
Very civilised.
I get the impression Hannah doesn't want to talk about this, so we'll move on. We'll get back to the action. I'll ask Lindsay Smith and I'll find out what happened.
Oh yeah, she'll be willing to gossip.
Yeah. Here we go then. Oh, lovely break. It's McGuinness. Thumping tackle by Annie McKelvey. St Andrews supporters trying to rally their side. Pick and go. Ah, that's a shame. That was a super break by McGuinness, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's looking very busy today.
Now, Edinburgh being bold. Taking play up to the 22. Well, a wee chance now for St Andrews, but the referee blows for the half-time whistle. And the half-time score here at BT Murrayfield. Edinburgh University leading the women's varsity match 20 points to 0. We've had 4 tries so far. Join us again for the second half in a few moments.
Tweet us today at Scottish Varsity or use
As the night dawns and the skies turn dark, as shadows roam my lawn and make their mark, I search every day for the light. I hope and pray that it's worth the fight. As I progress on my journey, I worry less of how my story is going to end, of what I'll find. I will win, break the bind, and night will always come after the day. The dark will descend, but I won't flee. I will stand and fight the night, and at the end, hold up the light.
Edinburgh put lots of opportunities in front of me, and all I had to do was take them.
There is just so much to do in this city. Always something new to discover.
I love exploring Edinburgh.
Welcome back to BT Murrayfield. Second half of the women's varsity match about to get underway. Edinburgh leading by 20 points to nil.
Make some noise for the second half!
And referee Kelly Mitchell gets us restarted. Ball went back. And it's been turned over quickly though. Lucy Winter, who's been live wire open side in the first half for Edinburgh. Nice inside ball. Manchip. No, it's Rachel Law. Oh, clean break. That was Evie Gallagher. Chances here. Holmes finds a gap. Clawed down, 7 metres out. Here's Winter. Can Jess McClintock squeeze in? She does well to step away from the right touchline. Ball presented. Looks at Anne Young. Law, Winter. Try. And that was good patient build-up by Edinburgh there, Hannah.
Yeah, Rachel's running things really well. She's scanning constantly and giving the ball to people who she thinks is on, so really good.
Thought as well that the Edinburgh Uni right winger Jess McClintock did very well because she was tight to touchline, but you know that frustrating thing, an attack, and then somebody gets bundled into touch, and you think, oh, if only they could have worked a wee bit harder to keep in field.
No,
so
it's
she
the
did
hardest
well
job,
there.
isn't it? It's the hardest job for a winger is to stay in the pitch. So yeah, she did very well.
So Edinburgh leading by 25 points. We've played a couple of minutes into the second period here. St Andrews had regathered from the restart, but a very quick turnover, and Edinburgh just being really clinical when a chance presents itself.
Some really good defence from St Andrews there, but Edinburgh just so physical in the contact, so very difficult for them.
Ball goes forward there. And St Andrews have a chance to construct something from the scrum about 32 metres from the Edinburgh try line. And again, referee looking for a restart to the engagement sequence. Crowd building very nicely over in the east stand there. And it really is quite a setting here at BT Murrayfield, Scotland's biggest stadium and home to the Varsity match. Again, front rows go down. Don't think we've had any penalty at scrimmage yet, Anna.
No, the scrums have been fairly evenly matched, actually.
Yeah. There'll come a point though when the referee loses patience.
Yeah, as always.
That's it. Giving their instructions and not satisfied that they're being followed. Nice shot from down the touchline there. Emily Jones waiting patiently to feed. Oh, we're back to. So what do you do as a back when all this is going on, Hannah?
We're just having a cup of tea in the back line.
You're waiting for the armchair ride from the forwards.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
Doing all the hard graft.
Yeah. Jones feeds McGuinness, taken on by Fox Rothwell. Maybe wasn't the best clear out there. McGuinness again goes out from Curtis over the 10-metre line, recycled, needs pace onto the ball. However, St Andrews going through the phases. McGuinness probing, finds
Good
support
offload.
outside. That's a bit more like it from St Andrews if they can just keep possession. Taken on now by captain Amy Parr. McGuinness, the rangy lock now takes ball on. Yeah, thought she was going to get pinged for not releasing.
Yeah, good turnover there. I think that was Emma Dunbar, wasn't it?
Emma Dunbar, sister of Scotland cap Karen. And again, a real talent in her own right. Oh, good step there. That was Alice Martin, wasn't it? Alice Martin taken on by Nicola Howitt.
Yeah, Nicola's been very busy today. Running really well.
Oh, it was almost good hands in midfield, but St Andrews pull off the interception. And a shrill blast on referee Mitchell's whistle. Jones taps. McGuinness again. McGuinness looking to orchestrate. Big tackle out wide. Turnover ball. Emma Dunbar getting ready to truck up. Well, eye off the ball. That was a bit unfortunate.
Thinking about her next job, I think, wasn't she?
Yeah. It's sometimes hard, isn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
the thoughts going through your mind and
Yeah, absolutely. So many things going through your head.
yeah. Edinburgh going to their bench and a couple of additions to the front row. Sarah Donnelly and Kirsty Galloway coming on. And it's very much in kind of keeping with the tradition of the varsity match that the entire squad will be involved in the game. So this scrum on the halfway line. Rachel Law very predatory at that ball coming out from the scrum. tackle in midfield, good layoff. Edinburgh ready. Winter, Dib Fuller ducking under the tackle. Abigail Fryer working hard for St Andrews in defence. Here's Winter again. Got the offload in. It's taken on by McClintock, former Firhill High School pupil here in Edinburgh. Jess McClintock, she likes her marathon running. Rachel Law, Holmes, powerful run in midfield from Evie Gallagher. And Gallagher, the 18-year-old first-year student from Stirling High School, scores under the post. Good finish, Hannah.
Yeah, that's not a nice fend to be on the other side of. So yeah, she did really well there.
Again, really impressed with
Try for Edinburgh, scored by
both the
number 13,
workload
Evie Gallagher.
and the work rate of Lucy Winter, but also how comfortable she is in contact, keeping the ball alive.
Yeah, she'll quite happily offload, and she's putting a lot of players in space, working really, really hard at the breakdown as well. She's having a really good game.
Because you'll need to be thinking about a player of the match, which I will spring upon you in about 10 minutes. Conversion attempt is good from Annie McKelvey.
And the conversion is scored by number 15, Annie McKelvey.
First conversion of the day
Taking the score on to Edinburgh 32, St Andrews next.
from the third-year maths student, Annie McKelvey. From Cornwall is Annie. Single-figure handicap golfer.
Oh wow.
You play a bit golf?
I used to, yeah.
You're just a talent all-round sports person, aren't you?
Just like to keep busy.
That's it. So what would you be looking to do now as St Andrews, Hannah?
Yeah, they need to regroup and just get some solid straight line running and make some ground.
And keep making the tackles, eh?
Yeah, the defence has definitely improved. I think they've just gotten a bit more comfortable and sort of settled into the game a bit more, which is good.
So here's Edinburgh. Oh, Lucy Winter again. What a handoff. Oh! Great stuff from Lucy Winter. She's Aberdeen born. And she's a fourth-year sport and recreation management student. You wouldn't have messed with her if she was in charge of your leisure centre, would you?
Absolutely not. Some really good physicality from her.
Referee playing an advantage. As Edinburgh go left. It's Dib Fuller. Recycling. Nicola Howitt, Scotland cap. Having to work hard to present the ball there. It's taken on by Ellis Martin again. Oh, tremendous offload. Second try in succession for Evie Gallagher. Good work there by Edinburgh, Hannah.
Yeah.
Edinburgh scored by number 13, Evie Gallagher.
The interplay between backs and forwards there.
Yeah, linking really, really well. The second rows are, and obviously Lucy as well in particular, are linking really, really well with people like Evie. Makes their job a bit easier.
So that was Edinburgh's seventh try. And can Annie McKelvey add her second conversion? Not one for the highlights reel there. It's 37 points for the capital side. And let's see what St Andrews can do to try to post a score. Emily Jones sizing up her options. She goes right. But she'll be frustrated with that one, Hannah, won't she? Because
Yeah.
you got to do the basics.
Yeah, simple error there. That is frustrating for St Andrews.
Just hands the initiative back to Edinburgh. St Andrews going to their bench, and we've got Eliza Topliff and Ailey Sword joining us. Eliza, Dunblane High School former pupil, and Ailey, who's studying Scottish History and English, third year student, joining the front row for the scrum. Here's Edinburgh. Nice quick ball. It was fed out by Beth Thompson. Guess who? Lucy Winter. Again, tremendous support play by the Edinburgh pack. Now,
Yeah, they're all just linking very
they
well.
just really need to open up here. It's taken on by Dib Fuller. Dib Fuller says, anything Evie Gallagher can do, I can do too. And she's in under the posts.
Try for Edinburgh, number 12, Lily Dick Fuller!
She worked at her angles well there, didn't she? She's an astrophysics student.
Yeah, I think St Andrews are just struggling with the pace of the game
Yeah.
and the offloading. They're making their tackles, but they're just struggling because the girls are doing so well to offload it.
Yeah. So let's see what Annie McKelvey can do from here. Whoa. Just made it.
Just kissed the bar.
15, Annie McKelvey!
That takes the scoreline to M University 44. St Andrews still looking for their first points. And that was Edinburgh's 8th try. So we've got about 10 minutes of the match remaining. And Hannah is pondering her choice of player of the match. And we'll ask her about that in a few minutes. But in the meantime, let's see what St Andrews can do from here. They have a scrum on the Edinburgh 10-metre line. And they probably just need, as you said, some hard direct running at this point.
Yeah. They're
To
12.
try and get them over the
Yeah.
advantage line a wee bit.
Yeah, Rhiannon, the 12's got a good pace onto the ball, and she's been quite a strong runner for them. So if Shan can just feed her, it's probably the best option for them at the moment.
Against the head, though. It was a proper strike against the head too. Good clear out from Winter.
Yeah, your first job is winning your scrum, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate for St Andrews.
Thompson and Laura Kay. And here we go. A chance out wide. Dib Fuller. Oh, good tackle from McGuinness.
Really good tackle.
That was a try saver.
She's been very good in defence today.
Yeah, she put her body on the line there, didn't
Yeah.
she?
Absolutely.
So over in the sunshine, the East stand. We've got our layers on over here in the West stand.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit jealous.
So let's see if Mary Faulkner, the St Andrews 4, is the target. Well, she was the target, but would be just a wee bit out of sync there. Chance for Edinburgh again. That was Evie Gallagher demolishing the would-be tackle of McGuinness. Here's Winter again. It's McClintock. Dib Fuller. Ellis Martin. Loose ball, good defence. Beth Thompson. Dib Fuller trying to go through the tackle. Good wipe out. Again, St Andrews just trying to get their body positions a wee bit lower. Edinburgh 4 metres short. St Andrews working hard in defence, ball's gone forwards. And this is Shona Parrott. The pass just couldn't quite be executed. Sally Stott, who scored a hat-trick in the first half. And guess what? Evie Gallagher's got a hat-trick in the second half.
13, Evie Gallagher.
It was a pity because, again, defensively, they put in quite a good set,
Yeah.
but they didn't really react quickly enough to Shona Parrott, the St Andrews fullback, making the attempted counter-attack.
Yeah, she was having to do quite a big job on her own there, unfortunately. But yeah, good defence until that point.
So 9 tries then to Edinburgh.
That's a tough conversion.
And once again, St Andrews just having a wee pep talk. Edinburgh ready to receive kickoff. The referee's going to whistle, I think, in a minute, isn't she?
Yeah, they're a bit slow to reorganise, aren't they?
So Hannah, getting close to that point where you have to select your player of the match, and who will that be?
Yeah, I mean, there have been some excellent performances in both teams. I think Shan McGuinness and Shona Parrott for St Andrews have played really, really well. They've both looked very active, really good in defence. And for Edinburgh, I mean, Rachel Law, she's looked very exciting to watch. And the second rows have been very, very busy all day, but I think Lucy Winter's probably got to be the standout player for me today. Just so good in defence, really clinical at the breakdown and offloading constantly, putting players in space. So yeah, she's definitely had a great day.
So our player of the match in the women's varsity is Edinburgh University's open side, Lucy Winter, the 23-year-old, 4th year sport and recreation management student, a former pupil of Webster's High School. And I think a name that we'll be keeping a very close eye on, Hannah.
Yes, absolutely.
You might get to play in the centre more often, if Lucy comes through.
I would hope so.
So St Andrews then, through Fox Rothwell. Bit of a loopy offload, but it served the purpose. Jones needs a support runner. It comes through Vicky Armstrong. No, referee spotted hands there. Tap again. Here's McGuinness. Good step from McGuinness. McGuinness boshes a tackle. She's denied 4 metres out. Here's Emily Jones. Can Jones force her way over? Edinburgh regroup in defence. Taken on now. Oh, offside. Not sure why she didn't play an advantage there, the referee, but it's a quick tap from Amy Parry. Not sure Edinburgh were back the 10 metres. Jones to McGuinness. Ball presented. St Andrews have numbers to the right. Edinburgh trying to line up their players. Jones again, it's a loose pass. Ball's gone forward there. Tenacious defence from Edinburgh. You sense that might have been St Andrews' moment.
Yeah, I thought Shan maybe had it down there in the left corner, but it's such a shame.
Edinburgh now, even though they're inside their own 22, looking to be positive, looking to be bold. Looks like a turnover though. Oh, high tackle, says referee Mitchell. It's a wee bit slow from St Andrews. Parry does well to retrieve that loose pass. Jones again. Here goes Parrott. Has Parrott got the pace?
What a tackle.
Great tackle. Great tackle by Jess McClintock there. It almost looked as if Parrott had got away. Here's McGuinness. Referee playing an advantage. Jones. Pass retrieved. Intercepted. Back for the offside. For the effort they've put in, it would be good to see St Andrews get a score, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you want them to get one, don't you, really?
Yeah. So it's Naomi Boone who's going to take the tap penalty. She taps. There wasn't really enough venom in that, was there?
Yeah, there's really, really brave defence from Edinburgh on their line there.
Yeah. Referee has a glance at her watch. And it's last chance saloon, you feel, for St Andrews to get a score. It's with Beth Tappenden. St Andrews line-out has not really functioned today. Referee blows for full time in the women's varsity match. It's congratulations to Edinburgh, who maintain their unbeaten record in this fixture on the international pitch here at BT Murrayfield. 9 tries Edinburgh scored. Hat-tricks for Sally Stott at number 8, centre Evie Gallagher, and the other Edinburgh tries came from scrum half Rachel Law, back row forward Lucy Winter, and inside centre Lily Dibfuller. Lucy Winter, a well-deserved player of the match, selected here by Hannah. Hannah, your thoughts on the overall contest?
Yeah, I think the Edinburgh's sort of physicality, and they were very, very clinical, and St Andrews just couldn't keep up with the pace. I really did think they would get there at the end. They were really passionate, and they looked like they were going to score, but unfortunately the Edinburgh defence was just too good.
Thank you very much for your company here at BT Murrayfield. From me, Graham Law, and from Hannah Smith, the Scotland Women's and Scotland Women's Sevens cap, thank you very much for your company. The next game, live coverage on Scottish Rugby TV, will be the men's match between Edinburgh University and St Andrews University. Kick-off is at 4 o'clock. But in the meantime, thank you very much and good afternoon.
Scottish Varsity match, the Royal Bank of Scotland Scottish Varsity match. Edinburgh University against the University of St Andrews. We've had the cheers from Edinburgh Uni, who took the women's honours, and now we're ready for the men's contest. This fixture is getting around about 10,000 at BT Murrayfield in recent years since they brought the game back here. May well be more than that today, because it is absolutely packed in the central area on the far side and on this side as well. As the dignitaries will get there, a few minutes to go through all the players, the handshakes, well, the anthem as well shortly. Really buzzing for this one, alongside himself, Cal Patterson, another Patterson with the 1T Scotland legend, Chris Patterson. Chris, really exciting, this atmosphere, isn't it?
It is, and you're right, Cam, it really is filling up. You see just the east stand side, the west stand side just in front of us is it's filling up in the centre section with a lot of dignitaries involved. A great event this, not only what happens on the field but off the field. It's universities working together, it's university rugby working together, and more importantly it's sport working together, and we'll see a fierce battle on the field. I've been lucky enough to be at the last 2 or 3 of these over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and there's some real quality on show. There's a lot of exuberism and a real edge to the game as well that you don't often get in the professional game. There's this raw energy. Sometimes the professional game's sanitised a little bit. It's a little bit, in many ways, it's real, isn't it? But whereas there's a real kind of raw edge to this, it'll be fast, it'll be furious, it'll be a bit loose at times, but it's a big day for the guys who get lucky enough to play here at BT Murrayfield.
Yeah, you pick up on the sort of running rugby trend watching last year's game and even the women's game we've just seen. Not bogged down on scrums, or they're half an hour waiting for scrums to set and stuff. Just running rugby, 1 or 2 errors, particularly as players tired, but a great spectacle and show.
It is, and I think it comes from that raw passion that they want to play rugby. And when you get out in this field, it's a lot bigger than it looks. It's a lot bigger than it looks on that monitor. And certainly as a player, you come out, you're fired up. There's been a big build up to this. There'll have been, albeit pre-season working towards this. This will be the first kind of really meaningful game they've had in their season, other than kind of a couple of warm-up games, or whatever. So when you start the season with such a big event, you've got all the kind of energy and nervous energy built up through the day, but also all the, I suppose, the physical energy built up through the summer. You've been building towards this, and you see when they come out, rate or not, there's a few mistakes. There'll be a couple of hand runners, there'll be a few big hits, and it will settle and find its feet the game. But as I said before, there is quality out there. There are quality individuals and some quality structures. 2 very good coaches in Davy Aronson and Scott Lawson that know the game. So yeah, we'll set up for what should be a cracking encounter.
We'll pick up a few of the key players in the squads after the anthem, which will be coming up shortly. We've went through all the handshakes. See the Edinburgh Uni side, who were comfortable winners last year after a barren run since the fixture came back into fruition in 2011. St Andrews won 4 in the bounce, but Edinburgh took the spoils last year with a 31 points to 7 victory. Their squad has changed up a little bit, which has been good tell. We'll see. As we take a pause here for reflection and applause.
Thank you. Now please be upstanding if you can for the
Okay,
national anthem.
so it's time for the national anthem. Well, every time that is played and sung at Murrayfield, it always gets a little tingle down the spine. Let's look at a couple of key pointers from the sides. Well, for Edinburgh University, Ed Russell, number 8, takes over the captain this year from Nick Stephen, who was previous captain. James Small-Edwards, lively player, rugby family, but Small-Edwards playing 9, was at 10. Bruno Smith, bit of a change up, he moves to 15 from last year's squad, and he was a try scorer. The only one in the squad that remains was a try scorer last year. Bit of press in Zach Redgrave as well, son of Sir Steve Redgrave, who I believe is watching on, looking for success for his son today here. For St Andrews, Roland Walker, a bit of a veteran at these now, captain again for his side. The core of the team looks together from last year. Rob Lind in the centre, powerful, made an impact. Alex White was their scorer last year. Our great pick and drive late on in the game was a consolation. We were hoping to perhaps score again. It will be Edinburgh Green to get us going here, left to right, and they are underway in this 2018 Scottish Varsity match. But coming away with it from the breakdown are St Andrews in their light blue. Well, that will be the early hit then on the deck there is Scott McGregor. A bit of a scrappy early exchange. And knock on. Well, we went 4 minutes last year without a stoppage. It's taking 30 seconds here.
Yeah, it was a good kick-off by Edinburgh University. Actually, a real short kick-off by George Wallington, and Adam Causer caught it, or certainly got his hands on it, maybe got the ball lost in the contact, and from there University St Andrews weren't interested in kicking, as you were saying early on, Cam, before the game. They were there to play. Cracking tackle by Ed Russell, the Edinburgh University captain, the number 8, forced a turnover, and it's a first attacking set piece for Edinburgh inside St Andrews 22.
So as mentioned, James Small-Edwards, the player this year at scrum half, politics student, looking to perhaps pick up from the back. A little bit of a disruption going on, and penalty there, a legal disruption from St Andrews, and quickly taken. Small-Edwards in the thick of that. Looking for a bit of help there as Russell does find it. Battering ram manoeuvre. Nelson in the ruck on the floor. Back with Russell, trying to link up. Now space. Out wide there is Arthur Friend. And clambering there. Not legally Michael Sutherland, but coming back for an earlier penalty.
Yeah, St Andrews University not back 10 from the initial penalty. It was a penalty for offside at the scrum. Edinburgh looked to play quick but couldn't break down the St Andrews University defence. And interestingly, we'll talk about the exuberance and the willingness to play. The first points on offer at goal have been turned down, or the opportunity to score points at goal have been turned down, and Edinburgh have opted to kick. A really good kick actually, 5 metres out from St Andrews line.
Glory of a try early on in the Varsity. Too much to give by with 3 points. It is James Boyle, the hooker. Decent first throw, and now they'll try and wheel it. Just sitting there at the back as Russell required, but they've been stolen there. That's a great steal. Akinjobi there. And that as well, first bit of danger certainly averted for now. Well, that's not probably part of the textbook, but they'll at least get it away to the 22.
He actually did well there, Scott McGregor. The ball was a bit wobbly coming back to him, deep in his in goal. It dived just right at his feet and managed to scoop it. And under pressure, he did manage to get his kick away, and as an outcome, just making up to 22 is a good effort actually, under a bit of pressure from a bubbling ball. But it was a good turnover, wasn't it? The first turnover in the set piece. Akinjobi, the number 8 for St Andrews, who played last year, managed to swim through them all and come away the ball for St Andrews.
So Boyle again, it's another good routine which has got a bit of a drive on, but this time turnover, and that ends that.
Yeah, it's hot on the referee, isn't it? So I can trailer saying that, I think saying obstruction, so that the ball was still at the front of them all. Have to get it to the back. It was an aggressive drive. It was an effective drive. St Andrews University looked as if they're going to have to struggle to stop it, but they've missed touch and we're back in play.
Yeah, only found Friend and pinged across there by Wallington. Further across by Smith. Now at the far side is Hitchens trying to burrow through. And another penalty coming. A few penalties going against St Andrews and quickly taken there. Small Edwards doesn't like to hang around. Smith at support wide, but runs out of space to Edinburgh. But breathless.
Hit the nail on the head. Those are early penalties, 3 in quick succession against St Andrews, all in different parts of the field. And the 2 of those penalties, James Small Edwards is up to take the penalty quickly and really keep a tempo of the game. But you know, credit must be paid to St Andrews University defence. They've been alert to it, and have certainly put a couple of big shots in to win turnovers back.
Morrison with the throw in the St Andrews hooker, but looks like it was pinched in there. Small Edwards comes away with it. Here's Boyle. Oh, did he lose that forward? He did, just couldn't control it as he wanted. Pace, but a little scrappy.
Just almost exactly what we expected, isn't it? The willingness and desire to play, although a little bit rough around the edges in terms of quality. These guys haven't played a lot of rugby so far. It's early season. Obviously, coming together, it's only, I think, the second full week of university term, or the first full week of university term. So they will train through the summer period. They will be on individual programs as well as unit programs and working together. But that match experience or that match fitness, still early in the season.
Going by the crowd on the far side, I think it's still freshers.
Yeah.
Well, free kick and quickly St Andrews come away with it, looking just for a bit ball here because they haven't had too much. They had to do a lot of defending. Sutherland again around, Morrison at the back, just leaving it. And now a good couple of passes. Didn't quite find Jerome, who tries to help out. Stephen Chu, who is a player that was strong figure. I think he went off for a period last year with an injury, but they're a very physical team, perhaps a slightly different style to Edinburgh, who are a bit more pacey, technical, certainly were last year. Away again comes Lind and goes right this time. McGregor stopped in his tracks.
You can see the green shirts coming forward, Cam, really quickly in defence, and again taking the time and space away from St Andrews.
Two absolutely flattened there. But keep hold, but they're not going too far on halfway. This time they get the penalty. Walker the one on the floor.
Yeah, that's a contentious penalty, isn't it? In the game, not just that instance, but in the game, you know, players who are looking to jackal, who are looking to contest ball when they're on their feet, as soon as any pressures goes through their hands onto the ground, or their hands touch the ground past the ball at all, they're deemed to be not being in control of their body weight. Some referees are more lenient than others. Certainly there, that was a quick decision by the referee to penalise for hands beyond the ball. Technically correct, and I think it's quite a good thing, that, because it should allow for quick ball, but we'll see if that's refereed to the letter of the law. We could have a few penalties.
Jamie Morrison has been part of Edinburgh under-20s. Hooker here for St Andrews and goes long. It's an excellent one right to the back. Both trying to go for the driving routines. And Morrison now trying to add his weight at the back. Picked up by Hodgins. Linden trying to crash it through. Well, they're gaining a little bit more space. But that was firmly shut. But there could well be an overlap, perhaps. Covered by Lind. In comes White. Try scorer last year in the closing stages, but unfortunately has lost the ball in the middle of the tackle, and away comes Small Edwards. Not looking to kick it away either. Smith. Ball goes awry. Arm is out. And knock on, so they're lucky they'll keep hold of it, but again not wanting to kick away, and that lively figure of Small Edwards again proving a real threat.
Absolutely, and you can see it as well, the defences are strong, the defences are organised. We saw an example, obviously, Edinburgh coming forward and hitting hard early on. In the first 2 or 3 minutes we saw St Andrews putting some big physical tackles in. And that physical Edinburgh defence forced a turnover. It was James Boyle who got over. Fantastic steal, and then from there, as you say, James Small Edwards looking sharp, probing in and around close to the ruck, in and around the tight areas, looking for space. and forcing the knock on. Another attack now for Edinburgh from the scrum.
Small Edwards again, getting it out quickly. Causa found support. Quickly from Russell. Into near the 10 metres. Again, just crash back this time, Keys, and trying to reclaim the ball, but can't quite in St Andrews. Russell looks behind, across from Wallington. Good pace from Causa, but absolute hammer in the process, but the pass did get itself away. And on the far side, just keeping it in. Hitchens out there. Arm out. As the carry on here as they head towards the 22 to Edinburgh. Can the get the little pit drive. Small Edwards around and knock on. But they're going to come back for the penalty, and if that pass is just that millimetre, there's better time. That could have been a sneaky ball through in for the try.
I think we might be looking a little bit of foul play off the ball here, and it was a late hit. I think it was on Adam Causa, the Edinburgh 12. It maybe came from, was it Stephen Tui, the number 5? Somebody, certainly it was Causa did really well to straighten the line, delays pass, set. I think Connor Keys out all the way in the outside, and he was hit late. Is it late tackle? I think it was from Stephen Tui, but the assistant referee hasn't picked it up.
Yeah,
great endeavour, isn't it, by Edinburgh University to keep playing, to force those little passes or short passes in around contact to keep the tempo high.
Yeah, right. I think it was Tui that got the tackle in, but I don't think the referee spotted who it was. So just a quick chat with Ronald Walker, the captain, just to calm things down.
It wasn't terribly bad. It was late, and I think it was probably drawn from Adam Causa's really good straight running play. He fixed the defender, moved it on, and as second rows quite often do, and other positions in the field, you make sure your body weight's felt.
Boyle, Redgrave tried to flick it down. Now taken here by Hitchens. Andrews trying to scramble back. Small Edwards across. Nelson was there and some support. Now Burnside and supporting Gibson. The prop comes here for Russell, trying to battle ram his way through, hands around, but get it away. Wallington, Causa was there, just not quite coming off the pass, just about rescued by Friend, but it did just go forward again. Just that final pass looked like coming off, but it's Edinburgh continuing their wave at the moment.
Yeah, they've got all the territory, all the possession at the moment. Edinburgh, they're looking sharp. Just the back row especially. 6, 7, 8 of Burnside, Harry Ryan and Ed Russell coming to the fore in the opening 10 minutes, 12 minutes or so here. Good tackle in the end by Mughal, the left winger for St Andrews. He had to spot the danger, came up and he hit Bruno Smith man and ball to stop the attack and force a turnover. This is a difficulty for St Andrews now. They haven't had a lot of possession, but yet they're close to their own line. So do they clear the lines with a kick and give possession back to Edinburgh? Or do they have the courage, the convictions to hold on to possession and attack from deep?
Well, that certainly isn't part of the plan book, that they've lost the contest of the scrum.
Yeah, I think it's just the tight head side, isn't it? I think it's Phillipson for St Andrews is getting turned in a little bit by Max Young to the far side as we're looking here, just at the referee's nose. So difficult for stability and to pick out what happens in these scrums. It's the front five effectively working together as a pack rather than the individual front row players. That's a solid enough scrum. Well done.
Yeah, they went it away this time. Akinjobi trying to get himself set. Not quite the time to run away with it and try and get something on, so it's just the boot up and finds Smith, who has space and time, which is quick to close down, but it's very skillful, but it's went loose in there. It's back, it comes with Russell. Found Keys, and Edinburgh trying to get the phases going again. Smith back in position, Causa around. Fine after that late hit a few minutes ago. Oh, a little dink. He's chasing it is Small Edwards, but that is Not been caught well at all by Lind, and the scrum halves are both at it, but St Andrews back in the nick of time. And well, the two St Andrews players coming into each other, and there's the obstruction, and that will be an Edinburgh ball, and trying to clear it away, and all sorts of bodies around.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good player, James Small-Edwards. An attacking player who can put pressure on the opposition, like a wee kick like that, forcing St Andrews into that bottom corner. The only thing was, usually when you put a kick like that in from 9, your left winger, there's a communication between the two of you so you can work together, but Small-Edwards just dinked that over in the corner, chased his own kick and forced Cameron Lind to pick up under pressure, which he did well, but then the obstruction came, and this is a really big opportunity now for Edinburgh University in front of their fans who, well, fancy dressing there. Who do you spot in there, Cam?
Frost costume's pretty decent.
He's good, isn't he? Yeah, there's a pineapple.
Yeah, strawberry. Yep,
Ah,
there's a few.
They look like they're enjoying themselves.
But the only fruit probably across there.
Great atmosphere. It's a massive day out, not only for the players but for the supporters and the university as a whole.
Yes.
The assistant referee's getting a knee there as well, I think, from the three bunnies.
Probably because he's not in fancy dress. And he's going to go from the back there. Good stuff from Russell. 4 metres out. Small-Edwards, and here comes Gibson. High pile drive. Might go with the space. Oh, and all the way through the gap, Harry Hitchens, and the opening score of the afternoon after 15 minutes goes to Edinburgh.
Yeah, well, we thought it was coming. A lot of territory, a lot of possession for Edinburgh University. First up, the pick off the scrum from Ed Russell, the captain, was really well defended initially by University of St Andrews, but then 2 quick phases of play and that delayed pass to Hitchens coming out to in behind the defender and scotching through untouched. Some really good decision making at the line from the Edinburgh University number 10, George Wallington. There's the delayed pass, and there's Hitchens just coming out of the shadows, gets on the outside of McGregor and wriggles through. That came after 2 quick phases and a good first phase scrum attack from Edinburgh University. First score goes to the Edinburgh left winger.
And there's the easy extras. George Wallington with that. And 7 points to now. And well, Edinburgh over the first 15 minutes have had the better of it. There was that 2 or 3 minutes where St Andrews tried to get a foothold, and they did. But it is Edinburgh, I think, deservedly getting their lead.
So hard to defend when you see the kick-off not going where it is intended to go with Kelvin Chen, but those little passes, that little pass from George Wallington, it's so hard to defend for Scott McGregor. You're almost defending 2 players, and Hitchens comes from the inside to out, hidden really for most of the time, and just a really late decision as you, the defender, to try and stay in the ball carrier, move to the support player. Good play, good attacking play, effectively forcing 2 players into 1 defender's channel and having the execution to pick the right man.
So the messy restart, which means that Edinburgh have it again from scrum. Small-Edwards again orchestrating. And Wallington this time with the kick, and the chase going on. Hitchens again around and again in decision. And well, that could well be back to the 5, is it? The referee is going to have a chat here.
Can have another look at this. It's back to that corner. Talking about 9s and 10s, knowing how to put pressure on the opposition. It was Wallington this time that kicked into the corner. Here's the kick, really good kick. Difficult for Kelvin Chen. He wants it to run over his goal line so he can take a 22. If he carries it over, it's a scrum 5. He just managed to carry it over. Really good game management from Edinburgh with the kick, the decision to kick, and then the chase. Difficult for Kelvin Chen in that bottom corner.
Yeah, and I think the assistant and the ref were just talking just in case there was a hint of a try, but back with the 5 metre scrum. Just taking a little time to set.
This is where the first try was crafted from, just 3 minutes earlier, wasn't it? It was Ed Russell who launched initially from the number 8 position, and then we saw that the quality and the detail of the Edinburgh attack thereafter. Wonder what we'll see this time.
Small Edwards eventually going to get this in. Bit more of a stronger hold, and well, in the end it does crumble, and a penalty this time.
I think they'll go scrum again, Cal.
Yeah, I think so. It's starting to just creak a little. Yeah, just going to take a moment here to get things set, but they are going to go for the scrum once more. Good work, a pat on the head of Johnny Gibson, missing the game for Watsonians today, for the crowd of Murrayfield. Andy Bell is an assistant with Watsonians, is down on the sidelines too, part of the coaching setup with the university. That's squirmed all the way through, and it's now messy the other way, but well, St Andrews thought they were legal there, but the referee says no.
That's a better scrum from St Andrews there. It looked as if there was a bit of question there, the referee. It looked as if Kaufman was he came straight initially before turning in. When the penalty goes against St Andrews pack, and Edinburgh, no surprisingly, they take the option of the scrum again. There's the referee telling the tight head and the loose head to keep it straight. That's what we're looking for. That's where the real detail is. If the number 3 is back straight, you'll get a straight scrum. That's the telltale sign. The tight head props, that's at the right hand side here. Johnny Gibson for Edinburgh University. It's pretty square there.
Yeah, they've got this going this time. At the back there, just Russell falling away, and penalty try comes from the pressure. They were right to keep taking the scrum for the penalties, and very quickly it is a 14-0 lead with no kick, remember.
Penalty try for Edinburgh!
Yeah, the straight 7 points for the penalty try. I think that's the right decision that time. It was a dominant Edinburgh University scrum. 2 penalties prior to that. Good game management to put Edinburgh into that field position, and then the pack took over from there. Poor kick off the last time from Kelvin Chen allowed Edinburgh to get back into the game, back into the territorial win. It's a bit longer this time from Chen, and Edinburgh are going to kick out.
Yeah, it was almost a 4-minute period from as soon as that dodgy kick started, where Edinburgh worked their way up the other end, and the succession of penalties, which means a 14-0 lead. And well, remember it's 31-7 last year, and this is an Edinburgh side probably with 1 or 2 more changes than St Andrews, with a turnover of players and students, but very much in a decent position so far.
In the context of this game, I think St Andrews just need to get their hands on the ball, isn't it? It's all, the dominance has all been with Edinburgh because they've had the possession, so territory in some ways becomes less important for St Andrews at the moment than actual possession.
And that goes awry, which is might just about stay with the side in light blue. Very slow. Eventually just take their time, just about, not a forward pass. Now can they work a bit space? Coming in to help out the back is Chen, just looking to settle down himself a little bit. Cameron Lind there too, the scrum half. Little dance around. Lind there once more. That looked high.
Yeah, it was a high tackle, wasn't it? Scott McGregor, good phase of play there by St Andrews. Did exactly what we said that they needed to do, and it was keep possession, and they shared the possession, they shared the ball carriers. Phillips into the 4. Roland Walker coming in off his wing and offers a captain's role. This is a high tackle of McGregor. It's number 1, Max Young. It is high.
He's off for it as well, yellow card.
It's not malicious, not a huge amount of force, but it is high. It started high and it stayed high, and quite rightly a yellow card.
So the prop off that is another kick though that doesn't go into touch here. So now with 14, Edinburgh with Friend managed to just about stay in play. Walton right in the mess of that, but they've turned it over here. Here's Sutherland into the contact. Phillipson leaves for Lind. Sutherland back to his feet, looked a little groggy, but he's okay and holding on there, and penalty switches round. That's not exactly what you want. 14 against 15, this is a time to try and capitalise, but turnover.
Yeah, and there's a kind of unforced error, missing touch with the penalty as well. Just McGregor just biting off too much yardage. So where St Andrews University really should have been, camped in the Edinburgh University half with a throw at the line out, they had to scramble and defend reasonably well, but then when they got the ball back they were penalised. So you can see exactly what Edinburgh University are doing here. Pretty shrewd, but they're taking their time getting to the line. Now look on your screen there, St Andrews are all ready to go. There's not a green jersey in sight. They've got 14 men on the field, one in the sin bin, and they're going to eat up all the time legally. It's just good management, good play for them. Eat up all the time they can to try and run that sin bin clock down.
So Boyle, it's too long. And back with St Andrews. Flung there by McGregor. Tries to come back in, but again, not really telling themselves in glory. Somehow he managed to keep it in their path. Again, Lind across now, maybe some space. Mughal, who's been quiet, was wanting it in the wing, didn't quite come as far as him. Cross from Hodgins, but slip up. And Burnside switches and Ryan across. Hitchens looking for it. And they're still going to Small Edwards. This is great play on the counter, just motoring forward. Back it comes with Burnside into the 22. Again, profiting from a mistake. Cross from Smith. A little pace off it now. Just to set up the next wave as bodies wide. Remember, 14 players. Nelson over the 22. Small Edwards here for Wallington. Crash ball through. Having to defend slightly here, St Andrews. And penalty comes, and Small Edwards taking it from the wrong spot. A bit too quick.
It's a big, powerful winger friend, isn't he? Number 14 for Edinburgh University came in a really hard shot line there. Well tackled by his opposite man, Mughal. I'm not sure exactly what the penalty was for, but again, they're mounting up against St Andrews University in their own third again. We'll see another kick to touch. Time's coming off. There's one or two run repairs needed for the St Andrews University lads. But this is also a time and an opportunity for them with someone needing a bit of treatment to get your team in together, get your leadership group, get your captains, to make one or two key points and say, listen, how are we going to defend this? What's the strategy? And how, more importantly, are we going to get into the game? Because it is Edinburgh University through their craft and their decision making and their skill execution that have dominated the opening 25 minutes of this half.
Yeah, and onto the pitch there's been plenty of talk in the recent weeks, particularly in lead up to this with Scott Lawson, player you know very well. Chris coming in to coach with St Andrews, really looking forward and relishing the challenge. It's just finishing up and hang up his boots and now into the coaching scene.
Yeah, well, I think the last time he was here, other than on Thursday for a quick run through, would be the Scotland-England victory. He was on the bench in the Calcutta Cup game in March. I think that would be the last time he was here, so it shows you how current and how relevant his experience is, and he'll be passing all that on to the youngsters out there. It's great to see him involved. That's him carrying the water off as well. So his head coach is in, he's getting his key messages onto the field, and I know at University of St Andrews they're really excited and appreciative of his skills.
We restart then from the throw in. Boyle looking to perhaps take it at the back. He's sitting there and they'll wheel over, and it looks like Harry Ryan, I think, the one at the end, duffing it over, and very quickly Another try. Doesn't matter with 14 men, they've got another try.
Yeah, it's a penalties. It's a penalties mounting up against St Andrews. It's really caused them the hassle here. Harry Ryan started this match fantastically well. He's done a little bit of everything. He's been dynamic in attack. He's been a link player. He's been a pest at the breakdown, and there he is picking up St Andrews' third try. Edinburgh University's third try for the afternoon. He looks like a real talent, the number 7.
Yeah, played last year. Thought he scored well in the second half, which would at the time really reduced the arrears, but it was chalked off. Economics student. So George Wallington had one conversion earlier. The second one, penalty try, didn't need to bother with a conversion for that. So this is a tight one. It's going to spiral itself away, and well, no, Chris, the quality you had kicking on this pitch for these guys that are, used to pitches not as big as this, that'll look very daunting, the big post and the like.
Well, it is. It's a long way from there as well, and it looked like a decent strike from Wallington, and it just faded across the post and dropped short. It is a big pitch, and there's the pressure, the nerves as well. But they've certainly started well, Edinburgh and Wallington especially at 10.
Small Edwards back with it. 3 tries for Edinburgh University. That's a little loose. It finds Friend, but he's now been put under pressure. This is St Andrews looking to really find a bit of a crumb of something. And they do get the penalty. And loose pass, and this time it is Edinburgh that make the mistake.
Could maybe have played advantage here. I think the ball spilled out. Obviously, Edinburgh tried to work the ball back with their hands. It did come out on the St Andrews side, and I think it was Mughal who's had 2 or 3 really good tackles. Had the ball in his hands and looking dangerous, but came back for the penalty. And this is an opportunity for St Andrews. This is what they're looking for. This is what, as you say, they'll hang on to it. Probably go quite safe for the call, ensure you win possession, and really add some pressure and stress on the Edinburgh defence.
So Morrison, well, it does go to the back of the line.
Or you can go and do that.
Yeah, it worked.
Excellent throw, excellent catch.
And now just trying to get themselves forward. It's going sideways, but here comes Kaufmann, the German prop. Sets it up well. Closest they've been so far, and they're getting inches and inches away. Good counter tackle in there. Out comes to Walker. Walker, experienced captain of this side, can't quite get over, but they do in the end. And well, it's a good little pop pass which found, by the looks of it, Alex Hodgins, and they do have one back, and they have made playing with an extra player count.
Yeah, well done to St Andrews University. Alex Hodgins, as you can hear the PA announcer, gets the first try for St Andrews, and it's an excellent line-out throw. They didn't take our advice. They did the difficult thing, they threw to the tail. It's an excellent throw, an excellent catch. It set up a really effective maul, and then they swept down the blind. Kaufman had a shot first. Roland Walker went close off his wing, but it was that man, Alex Hodgins, the number 7, who got over, wriggled over, fought over, and got the ball down. And that's exactly what St Andrews are looking for.
Here's Kelvin Chen to try and get the extra 2 points, and doesn't quite make it. Very good kick, but not quite the distance.
The good thing from St Andrews' point of view as well is that tries came pretty quickly. It's only 3 minutes since Edinburgh scored the third try. So that keeps them in it. It keeps a hold of the coattails in some respects, but get hitting back as soon as you concede points as quickly as that is a real positive for St Andrews.
Couple minutes left of the Sinbin 2 for Edinburgh. So 19-5 then as we restart with George Wallington. Oh, that's a fabulous take. Oh, that's unfortunate, and the St Andrews part of the crowd subsides, but coming away with it is Friend, who again, they're not wanting to just kick this away. Zach Gregory found support behind Wallington, flicked it across, and bang. But somehow they keep hold. Good stuff from Hitchens again. Scored the opening try.
Really physical now, isn't it? There's a bit of bite in the tackle. That was Roland Walker flying in on Burnside.
Creeping up towards halfway, but creeping on the floor with the ball, and that will end that.
Yeah, it's just picked up a little bit, hasn't it? There's a bit of spice there. I say Roland Walker flying up from the backfield and hitting. I think it was Scott Burnside on the far side. But then still Edinburgh wanted to carry with vigour and dynamism. James Boyle carried there. He was penalised for just trying to steal 2 or 3 more metres. I'm not sure if he was held. Sometimes you're not aware as a ball carrier if you're held or not, and you try to get your feet back to your feet to make a few more precious metres for your team, but it was penalised that time. And the momentum swinging just gently back to St Andrews in this period of the first half.
Max Young, the Edinburgh prop who was Sinbin, is back on, so back to full complement, 15 apiece. 8 minutes left in the first half. It's just about kept there from the Morrison throw. Way by Lind. Through the middle comes Rob Lind, really is a strong figure, played well last year. Akinjobe comes in, trying to power their way through the middle. They do play slightly different to Edinburgh, they do like to use their strength, which they do have. McGregor coming in to help out. Well, if they could sneak a second try before half time, they would be really back in this. Just a bit of confidence. Sutherland now. White helped it across. Kaufman comes back in, really was part of that try. Akinjobe. And now flung wide, this time Faisal Mughal. Not an awful lot to do in attacking sense so far. He's stopped 5 metres short. Akinjobe comes in to now power through. Very short, and they are over. And what a couple of minute period this is. What a couple of minute period. I think Matthew Phillipson has taken the credit for it, the prop, but all of a sudden it's 19-10.
Yeah, I think it's Phillipson. We'll hear in a second or so, but what a difference a bit of possession makes for St Andrews. You said the momentum was built, and Akinjobe had 2 or 3 really crucial carries in the build up to there. Held just millimetres short, and there's Phillipson in number 3, identifies his space, picks and goes, keeps the ball under control and gets it down over the line. That momentum has just shifted, and it's come from St Andrews holding on to possession, moving the ball a little bit wider, creating a little bit more indecision for the Edinburgh University defence. A really good comeback towards the end of this first half.
Similar to before for Chen, but this time clips the post, and that's going to remain 19-10. But they are right back in this. I called it just before they scored. If they could get a second try, they really would be back in this. And what a few minutes. They've actually played better as the verge of Edinburgh come back to 15.
Yeah, just had possession. They've managed to hold on to possession and as you say, put a little bit of doubt with the movement off the ball in the Edinburgh University defence. And it's just so impressive. If you have possession, if you look after it, that's where you get your momentum. Akinjobe again carries hard.
Yeah, and took it well. I think the idea was to go along with that kick-off from Walton to see if they can put pressure on like they had done earlier in this first half. And penalty for St Andrews.
A little bit rash there from Hannah Ryan. Illegally came through, but you can't interfere with it. The scrum half, you can't attack the whoever's acting in that half-back position. It'll be frustrating one for Adamson, the Edinburgh University coach, to take. Just desperation, isn't it? Desperation to make a difference, to make an impact. You got to keep the discipline.
Yeah, talked about Scott Lawson, David Adams as well. Experienced coach, has been at the likes of Falkirk, Stirling County, down at London Irish too. Both the coaches here enjoying what they're doing with the university. And now Jamie Morrison, that goes awry, but it's worked back in St Andrews side, but only briefly because a knock on in there, and that should be pinged up despite Morrison getting his hands on the ball.
Just glance at the top left hand of the screen, 36th minute, and you would never have guessed that if that wasn't there. I thought maybe 20 minutes into the game it's been enthralling, it's been exciting, and it seems to have flown by. Only 4 minutes out from half time. Edinburgh definitely had the initiative early on, the territory, possession, 3 good scores, well, 2 good tries and a penalty try forced from good attack, and then St Andrews have came right back into it.
Small Edwards doesn't go far with that scrum. For one of the rare times, boot to ball. Only comes through for Chen. Walker whirls it away. Lind sets up. Scott McGregor doesn't really find anything specific other than Smith, who has time and space. Wonderful exchange of passes. Small Edwards was a forward. Wasn't, says the ref. Play on. Or they think he has in the end. It's been brought back. There was a knock on in there. It was some sweeping rugby, but I think in the initial move, Small Edwards was just a fraction in front.
Just drifted forward. You can see how dangerous Bruno Smith is at fullback. Not only did he cut the initial break, he used, I think it was Harry Hitchens up that left hand side, but then stayed in the game, got his second touch of ball back inside again to Bruno Smith, who really has some serious pace about him, and then it's all good nines do. James Small Edwards was trailing and inside, but the ball just drifted forward. But that's the dynamism, and that's the willingness to attack that Edinburgh University had. They've not had the ball, the possession and the territory swung against them, and then one loose kick from McGregor was almost punished by Edinburgh.
You'll remember back in the days, Scotland, that was kind of a trend for Scotland a few years ago. Before some of the players that came through didn't often, even at Murrayfield, see a lot of possession, but we seem to counter-attack really well when we were never the same quality of player back in the day.
Well, it's actually a really good way into the game. The statistics show, not to bore you, but the statistics over the last few years, most of your possession will come from lineouts, and your second highest source of possession comes from counter-attack, so turnovers or kick receipt. It's maybe changing a little bit now. You see fewer kicks in the game. Teams want to hold on to possession longer, but over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, the second highest source of possession has been counter-attack. So it's actually a really good way of getting into the game, having counter-attack structures, getting your dangerous players on the ball, but it comes down to work rate. If you're prepared to work harder than the kick chase to get back into position, and then you have the skill acquisition and the skill ability to then attack, it's a really, really good, potent attacking weapon, just as we saw there from Edinburgh University.
So just over 2 minutes then on the clock for this first half. Chris said it's been absolutely pacey, as you like. It's flew by. Still plenty of energy. We'll see what the energy is like about 20 minutes into the second half. But certainly jiggling around this scrum for Lind. Eventually comes through for Rob Lind from Cameron Lind's pass. Going to try and work it from deep and try and just keep hold of that ball.
McGregor did well if he keeps a hold of that, because Russell was on the ball. He did well.
Trying to bather his way through. Alex White, scorer in the final in the Varsity game last year. It's calm stuff for Cameron Lind to get himself back. Just steadies things with just over a minute to go on the clock. That was White, I think, in there again, trying to set it up. Chen looking to try and rove around.
Still looking to attack St Andrews, isn't he? Really trying to move that Edinburgh University defence. It's all a little bit in front of Edinburgh University at the moment, though. They're not committing a huge amount of players to the breakdown.
Akinjobi took his time, and now there's space for Rich to roam, but Mughal just couldn't keep himself in play.
Yeah, credit again to St Andrews for the willingness to attack there and looking after possession. Maybe spooked a little bit from the counter-attack before. We just saw from a loose kick how dangerous Edinburgh University can be, so they opted to hold on to possession and maybe just looking for the half-time whistle, playing towards the half-time whistle. Mughal almost got away down this left-hand side, but he was well ushered, tackled into touch. This is an opportunity for Edinburgh. These are the moments in games where you can really, kind of rub salt in the wound. If you can score so late in the half, and you should be targeting this attacking line out just on the opposite side or halfway to really stamp your authority prior to the break.
Yeah, it'll be the final play of this first half, and Cause are looking to wriggle through. Just on that halfway line. Hitchens has came more and more into it as the halves went on. No hint of kicking out of play. Burnside. They're looking for another try. Small Edwards. Oh, and that might well end the half unless St Andrews can claw it back, which they can. Two props combining, Phillipson and Kaufman in the middle of the park. That's a scary one if you're a back.
Is that the half?
Well, the clock here has went red, but there might well be just a few seconds left on the referee's clock.
You can see the players asking. I think they're hoping it's half time. The two props that just combined in the halfway, as you say, Callum, I'm asking for clarity. Certainly the stadium clock has hit 40 as well. Another opportunity for St Andrews here. An interesting setup. 3 on either side of the scrum, and they get the free kick going quickly through Lind.
Cameron Lind, surely this has to be about the last opportunity. It's a long one for Rob Lind, and that is a messy one. And here comes Connor Keys, but back there is Mughal to defend, but it may well be a turnover. No, they have got it, and they're thinking that will do for the first half. No more of those scary moments, but that will bring the first period to end in this Varsity match. And Edinburgh University with 19 points to 10 lead over St Andrews. A brief overview, Chris.
Well, it was all about Edinburgh University early on, wasn't it? They went 3 tries ahead. St Andrews came back into the game really, really well. 2 cracking tries in quick succession. Who knows what we'll see in the second 40 minutes.
Tries from Hitchens, a penalty try from Harry Ryan for Edinburgh. Alex Hodgins and Phillipson with tries back for St Andrews. We'll be back shortly for the second half. Half time here, Edinburgh University 19, St Andrews 10.
As the night dawns and the skies turn dark, as shadows roam my lawn and make their mark, I search every day for the light. I hope and pray that it's worth the fight. As I progress on my journey, I worry less of how my story is going to end, of what I'll find. I will win, break the bind, and night will always come after the day. The dark will descend, but I won't flee. I will stand and fight the night, and at the end, hold up the light.
Edinburgh put lots of opportunities in front of me, and all I had to do was take them.
There is just so much to do in this city. Always something new to discover.
I love exploring Edinburgh. I found the people here very friendly and so much fun.
The city is known for being a global innovator in so many fields. That's what made it very attractive.
Edinburgh University is highly ranked worldwide. It's got such a strong academic reputation, which is why I was so eager to come here.
Edinburgh was always where I wanted to go to university during high school years.
It's a city with so many opportunities. It's a city you can be yourself in, and it's a city that challenges you.
Volleyball was a huge part of my life before starting university. It's been great playing it here as team captain.
The city has given me global opportunities to build my career, and I'll always be grateful for that.
The environment here has changed me. I've discovered my own independence.
I've made a lot of friends in Edinburgh. Scottish people are so welcoming. They've made me feel part of the city.
Everything I wanted to do, Edinburgh made happen. That's what university should be about. You need to be in a city that can inspire you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it.
There are a lot of world-class universities, but how many of them are in world-class cities?
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh. Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh.
Come on, Edinburgh!
BT Murrayfield, let's hear it for the second half!
Welcome back then to BT Murrayfield as the second half underway in this Royal Bank of Scotland Scottish Varsity match in Edinburgh University with 19 points to 10 lead over St Andrews, and Edinburgh University maybe threatening a runaway win again, but St Andrews with 2 tries towards the end of the first half through Alex Hodgins and through Matt Phillipson, getting things back a bit more on track after tries from Hitchens and Ryan with a penalty try in the middle, which sees us at 19-10. Chris Patterson alongside myself, Callum Patterson and Chris. We've seen a lot of pace, a few errors in their first half. They've had 10 minutes break now. What are we expecting for the second period?
Well, it was a cracking first half, wasn't it? And I think we've already seen a quick change in the second half from Edinburgh University. George Wallington, after 2 phases, opted to put boot to ball and try and force St Andrews to do what they've actually gone and done and force a mistake close to the line. It looks as if St Andrews are going to follow the same script as the first half and try and play from deep, try and play rugby from their own third. By that time the offload was forced and it was knocked on. So I think we're seeing a more pragmatic edge to Edinburgh early on, and still that attacking edge from St Andrews.
We've just seen at half time the presentation for the women's team, so a comprehensive one against St Andrews. Edinburgh Uni 49 points to 0, and early penalty as the trend seemed to go in that first period for Edinburgh.
Again, no thought of kicking the free. Wellington's going to keep the pressure on, and he has found a safe touch this time, 70 metres out from the St Andrews University line. And this is exactly what Edinburgh and Dave Adamson would have wanted: control, a measured approach to the start of the second half, where Scott Lawson and St Andrews were looking to try and get up and win this ball.
So then James Boyle with the throw-in. This is where at the far corner in the first period caused problems, the throw-ins and the scrums. Particularly the scrums, what can they do from the throw-in early in this second period? Taken in well here, and the drive on, the help from Gibson. The prop really leading that. Can they burrow it over the line? I think Russell trying. Who's going to pick it up? Just taking their time, trying to get bodies out of the way. Small Edwards. Nelson pushed back, trying to get the ball back. Getting clear out of the way was Hodgins. Now there's space and time. Tried to pick up the pass with Smith initially, but it was a little loose. Picked up by Friend. Comes for Boyle. And they go for a bit of brute strength. Keeping hold of the ball here are Edinburgh University. Now back out wide. Looks like Oscar Ryan is on, number 21, but they've lost the ball, have Edinburgh.
Yeah, I think it was Arthur Friend hitting a short line up that right hand side for Edinburgh. It's something they've done often, that go to the short side, but St Andrews managed to force the turnover, force the error, and still we see them playing from deep. See if they put the boot on the ball here. No, they're still prepared to have a go.
Hodgins trying to go with strength to try and just gain those few metres. On the floor there is White. Now they'll get a boot in. Scott McGregor back there, but only to a dangerous central position. Could be very dangerous. This is through the gap, trying to find the gap with Hitchens. It comes loose. Wallington. Number 10 from Dorchester.
There's a lot of space in behind that St Andrews front line for a kick through on the right hand side. But still Edinburgh carry into it. You can see it there in behind the light blue line.
So keeping hold with Burnside. Gibson helping out his teammate in green. There is the kick from the scrum half, Small Edwards. And it has been taken by Smith. I thought he lost out, but both coming together, and in the end somehow it's went back to the side in light blue.
Yeah, Smith and Chen both fully committed to the bouncing ball. It's good to see. And I think Smith actually won it and then tried to get the offload away. Kelvin Chen got back to clean up Akinjobi now as well, taking the ball towards Edinburgh.
Yeah, that medical student from London, Akinjobi, has been a real threat with his power in that first period. Now finally they'll get some breathing space. McGregor has been used to clear and very quickly restarted. We'll see if this continues up. Walton found Friend across, and Friend trying to go all the way, gets himself into the 22, taken on. Blindside was Ryan. Try scorer in the first period. Comes through for Burnside, dropped, but backwards it went. Small Edwards, a bit of a loose pass back with Ryan, all very tight. Small Edwards in there, it's Causer. Small Edwards told him to get out of the way and then was played in, but Friend couldn't catch the hot potato.
Well, it's definitely a tactic from Edinburgh University to attack the short side, to try and almost find a little bit of space close to the breakdown up that short side. It's a safe place to attack as long as you stay in field. But again, St Andrews University's defence here was pretty good. It will be tiring because Edinburgh University are throwing everything at it. The the difficulty St Andrews University have, if they kick, you're inviting a really good counter-attack from Edinburgh University. And that time, the last kick there was actually McGregor put the ball off the field, and still Edinburgh University took the quick throw and came back with a counter-attack. So to counteract that, if you're St Andrews University, you want to get the ball off the field, but far enough off the field that Edinburgh can't counter-attack quickly or get the throw in quickly, but then you compromise your distance away from your own line. So it's difficult, but it's a really good attacking mentality and mindset from Edinburgh to keep the tempo high, to counter-attack. And on the flip side, St Andrews University's defence in the opening part of this second half has been up to the task.
And see one or two early repairs in the second half. It's been reasonably straightforward in terms of not being too many stoppages in the first 6 minutes, but one or two little mini repairs going on. So one or two breathers as well. Touched on it is very early in the university season. Both these sides don't play the first league game in the university leagues until 3rd of October. So this is a real curtain raiser for the season ahead, which the fans on that side are really enjoying. And St Andrews have won the penalty there, and that will relieve some of the pressure with Edinburgh. Were building very much a pattern of the first half, building the pressure in those first few minutes.
Yeah, that scrum's a different outcome to the first half, wasn't it? It was almost the exact opposite. St Andrews were penalised for going in on the angle in the first half that time. I think it was Max Young again for Edinburgh University, the loose head side, being accused of going in, boring in and not scrummaging square. It gives St Andrews the opportunity to clear the lines up to almost the 10 metre line with a throw to the line out.
Pretty quick then with the throw in. Akinjobi just about keeping it alive. Now looking to burst through the centre there is Rob Lind. But stoppage, I think an injury knock, perhaps a head injury issue, which immediately stops play in the tackle, which is a bit of a concern.
Yeah, it's good refereeing right away, seeing that there was or acknowledging that it was a knock. Certainly, even if you're not 100% sure, blow the whistle, stop the game, and you see how quickly the medical attention's onto the field. It's an Edinburgh University player. I think whether it was caught in a tackle, looked like Richard Derome or maybe Rob Lind from St Andrews has carried the ball into space, and two Edinburgh University tacklers converged on him, and whether they clashed with each other or caught something else, I'm not sure, but the player who is injured is getting treatment at the moment, and you see we'll keep you up to speed, but certainly best of medical care right on hand here at BT Murrayfield.
Yeah, Rob Lind in the huddle there. He was took the initial ball in, but both sets of players just taking a moment. So we in a bit of a breather state at the moment. 47.5 minutes played in the contest, which Edinburgh lead by 19 points to 10. They could well have been further ahead, perhaps with the balance of play with the try from Hitchens. It did take them 15 minutes, but they did finally knock the door down with the try. Then the penalty try followed. We talked about a moment ago about the scrum for St Andrews, which worked quite well. It wasn't working so well in the first half. And after 20 minutes, a penalty try, 14 points to 0 up. And Harry Ryan added to the scoreboard, 19-0 after 26 minutes. But just when they were coming to the end of a period, Edinburgh, that third try was under a period where they only had 14 men. Then there was a couple of tries, Alex Hodgins getting a score, and then Matt Phillipson, the prop, the chemistry student, getting his try. None of those tries converted, but 19-10, so it still sets things up rather well with a little half an hour to go. And as mentioned, the players might get tired as the game goes on. The University Leagues start in October. Edinburgh University in the Bucks North Division, UK wide North Division League, North A they're in, finished 6th last year, promoting out the Scottish divisions a couple of seasons or so back. With St Andrews there in the Scottish top tier in the University Leagues, both universities focusing on their University League rugby and moving away from the Scottish Club League, which was, I think, done with heavy hearts, but they're flourishing in the University Leagues and they're enjoying the big stage here ahead of the start of the season, which is ahead. Kind of you see in the club game, Chris, now the club game has now got its curtain raiser fixture. It's good that we've now got this, and it means that it's pretty aligned now that this feels like the week or so before the start of a new season.
Absolutely, it's an essential fixture for Scottish rugby. The university game is essential for the growth of the game as well. Obviously, it's not the be all and end all of their careers at the university, but it's such an integral part of an educational facility, having teammates, having leadership in display, having culture in display through the values of rugby. These guys, some of them may go on to excel at rugby and be professional athletes, but that's not the main aim. The main aim is the values that rugby can bring to the institutions at University of Edinburgh and University of St Andrews. But you're right, this is a good fixture. It gives a target, it gives a focus for pre-season. It prepares them for what is a Bucks League, the hard league and season ahead. And it also gives them a taste of BT Murrayfield. It's a brilliant experience. It's an experience that will live with them for a long time. Some of these guys are lucky enough to play, numerous occasions last year, season before, and some, of course, will go on and play in the years ahead as well. But I think it's essential for university rugby to have a showpiece event, and it's essential for Scottish rugby to recognise that. And from Scottish rugby's point of view, it's fantastic to have these guys at BT Murrayfield getting the full experience.
Both sides just going through some little drills just to keep themselves warm as treatment still going on down there. It is a bit of a varsity weekend because Glasgow had their own varsity last night. Strathclyde beating Glasgow University 19-17, and it's good to see rivalries across different universities, and Glasgow having their showpiece game last night, and sounds like a bit of a decent game going by the scoreline at the end.
Yeah, it was close, wasn't it? I think it was a draw. Opportunity of a conversion at the end, but great to see both cities, Glasgow and Edinburgh, engaging in the importance of the rivalry that university brings. I'm just seeing medical attention. Still, we're unsure which player it is. The incident obviously happened just in the 10-metre line, and the best of the care. Obviously, precautions are taken every time there's a suspected head injury, if that's what it is. We're not entirely sure, but the stretcher's there's 6 or 7 medical personnel going through the protocol and procedure to ensure that the player gets the best attention. It's hard for us to tell who it is, Cal. I'm not sure if you've picked up who it is. We wouldn't want to speculate, but we'll get word on who it is and how they are to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick out who it is, but I'm not entirely sure who's down there. It may well be one of the wingers, but I'll check that out. I see Joe Stainer for Edinburgh University is just part of the warm-up, so I think he will be appearing. He's going to think it may well be one of the back line, but maybe I'll try and find out as soon as we know. But we will have plenty of time left in the game when it gets restarted. Just over 47.5 minutes played, but I guess a little breather for the other players, although some concern, of course, but might just recharge the legs. Although it is difficult to stay warm in these sort of conditions, keep yourself in condition to play rugby after a stoppage, but at least it gives them a bit of an extended break, so they can maybe go for a bit more hell for leather in the last half hour or so.
Yeah, there will be understandable concern, and it's sometimes quite disconcerting for the players. But in many ways, you have to, address that and then put it out of your mind and focus on the next task ahead. The guys will obviously have an idea of what type of injury it is, and they'll certainly take pleasure and a lot of comfort in the fact that the player will be receiving the best medical attention. But it can be difficult to refocus. Probably start with a scrum to St Andrews University as they were in possession when the incident happened. So your focus is now, let's get your focus back, set the scrum and get ready to go again.
Yeah, but nice to see both players showing their appreciation for the injured player that has went off, or is about to go off on the buggy, and in the crowd as well, and joining in the applause.
Yeah, there's a strong crowd as well at the event. It's after 9,687, which is a cracking number, obviously just shy of 10,000, but really well supported event. And as you say, the crowd and the players show the appreciation for the injured player.
Yeah, so kind of similar crowd, around about 10,000. It's been the trend since it came at the BT Murrayfield, which say seems like that all the students are across on the far side, and it seems like a lot of families of parents and friends on this side, but great to see fancy costumes and all. So we are going to get a restart here after a delay of some minutes, and it will be the scrum for St Andrews to get the game restarted. Cameron Lind manages to hoover it away. McGregor, and a good exchange of passes as on the march there is Faison Mughal. From North Yorkshire is Mughal. Coming in is Rob Lind, who was part of that melee of the challenge a few minutes ago. He was attacking at the time. Cameron Lind on a spill ball, and they're just getting a few decent passes together.
Yeah, it was good ambition shown from St Andrews University again, from the set piece scrum to launch from the right hand side scrum all the way down to the left wing. It was a good tackle, I think, by Arthur Friend, and then as St Andrews came back across the field, Big Stephen Tui hit a really nice line of 10, but couldn't quite control the ball. He'd run it a good space. It's exactly what he would do, run it space between the defenders. Don't run it defender, run it space, but he just, unfortunately for him, couldn't hold possession. And it's now a scrum centre field to Edinburgh University, who look as if they're going to attack that right hand side through 8-9.
And that routine does what Russell and Small Edwards. Seeing the back line, looks like both centres may well have went off here. One of them, perhaps the injured player, Causer, and keys on is Oscar Ryan and Joe Stainer in the centre area for Edinburgh University. Missed pass for Harry Ryan, number 7. 1 or 2 looking for something in there, but the turnover and the counter ruck is good. Here comes Lind for Morrison. St Andrews back in possession. 10 minutes into the second half. Rob Lind now. 10 metres line in his own half still, though. Hard grind. And there comes Sutherland, but pushed right back. Akinjobi. Little chip through from Jerome, and does just trickle out.
Not a bad option. Not a bad option. You can see by the body language the players are beginning to tire a little bit as a long phase of play, and rather than maybe ultimately come up with another error from St Andrews, who are in possession, decide to the grubber kick, push the kick in behind Edinburgh University defence. Ideally you want to keep it in play and then chase and harrow like Edinburgh did in the first half, but the ball dribbled out. But not a bad option when the legs are tired. You've not made a huge amount of ground, and you can regroup and then try and force the other from Edinburgh.
Boyle disrupted by St Andrews' hand.
Yeah, that's exactly what Scott Lawson would have wanted from his side. The Jerome with a kick through, and then forcing enough pressure at the line out to put pressure on the throw, and the throw just drifted to the right. And from having made not a lot of ground, 6 or 7 phases into play in around that midfield area, by putting boot to ball and following up with a bit of pressure line out, you now have an attacking opportunity 30 metres out from Edinburgh line.
So fed in by Cameron Lind, and gets it back as well. Switch across from McGregor, trying to hammer through towards the 22. Good pushing of the ball. Try to go with a decoy in the little bit of extra space through the middle. Sutherland out wide. Akinjobi now waiting for it. Phillipson there with support behind. Crash for Morrison, the prop. Bit of pace now flung for McGregor. Taken on by Tui. Max Hodgins. Akinjobi, they're working this really well here. Sutherland, can he get through the gap? 6 metres short. Stephen Chew's there once more. Kaufman. Lind goes a different route, does he? Still bogged down in the middle. Come in for a bit of a grandstand period if they can get themselves another try here, St Andrews, to narrow the gap even more. They've really came back into this with Chew there again. Through it goes to Rome. Bit of pace coming onto it is White. Couple of metres short. Can they find the space? McGregor this time. Still in that same area. Owen going down there. And Lind, hands in the face. Taken down as Morrison as the play continues. St Andrews continue despite a couple of players down for both sides. Akinjobi at the back. Trying to watch the injured players here. Inches away. But the referee is stopping things.
Yeah, quite right. So was it Lind, Cameron Lind, the scrum half from St Andrews is right, almost exactly where the next play would have ended up. There's an Edinburgh University player down as well. As you see, some of the physicality and the tackles going in there. A lot of great ball retention from St Andrews. A lot of the attacks are close to the breakdown. It's physical in there. You've got big bodies. There's not a lot of space to attack, so it is attritional. But St Andrews did wonderfully well to maintain possession, and ultimately Edinburgh University's defence held firm, didn't it? It absorbed all those hits. It put the hits in. It stopped them one or two. Ed Russell again, who's been impressive, number 8, the captain from Edinburgh University, put a couple of big tackles in to stop the momentum. But quite like the referee stopped the play. It will restart again with a scrum for St Andrews University, 5 metres away from the Edinburgh line. You see the players taking on fluid. This is what happened last year as well. It's wise from the coaches at this period in the game, just coming up to an hour, the fatigue sets in, and you can see a couple of changes being made there by Edinburgh University. Coming on, I see Sam White at number 18. I think Eric Martinson as well, number 20 maybe came on. So astute management from David Adamson. There's a player coming off. I think they're substitutes as opposed to replacements. I think. I'm not sure. I think it's maybe Max Young coming off for Sam White, and that looks like a tactical swap. And then the second player coming off for Edinburgh University looks, as he's taking his time, he's taking a knock or a bump. We'll let you know who that is when we can get confirmation.
Yeah, Max Young definitely coming off. I think that looks like for 54 minutes. It's time for a prop change, and Sam White from Oxford is on. And also
Ed Russell that's coming off the captain.
Looks like it.
He's limping, carrying his right leg a little bit.
He was down there, there was a couple of players down. He was one that was down.
He's been impressive. I'll say it again, his physicality, his leadership. He's been impressive. As Ed Russell, the captain, and Edinburgh are going to have to dig in without him in this 5 metre scrum.
Yeah, some mantle to take over from Nick Stephen, who was captain for a while with the side last year. Now, as we restart from the set play, St Andrews continue with their assault for another try. Taking on is Sutherland. Kaufman at the back with the help from Hodgins for extra bolster. Looking to get the ball down. Akinjobi, his turn. I think Phillipson just adding a bit of extra muscle. Oh, and the ball into the corner is so close, and the ref stops it. There is Ronald Walker, and did he get it down?
Well, we're going to have a look again. It's tight, isn't it? It's this bottom corner. There's something about it this afternoon. One or two Edinburgh players are holding their hands and shoulders. They've been tremendously brave in defence. Arthur Friend, Zach Redgrave, but a try has been given. Is it Ronald Walker?
Looked like he was the one on the floor, the captain. But when we were 20 odd minutes into this game when Edinburgh were scoring tries and were building their lead. We are now 55 minutes in with a kick to come. It's 19-15.
Well, I think it's Roland Walker, the captain. If it is, he's a powerful, big ball carrier. He's worked hard to get into the game. He's hit hard physically as well with his defence. And he's scored, we think he scored St Andrews' third try. It took a long time coming. Credit to the Edinburgh University defence. It really held firm, but eventually it broke. And we think it's that man Walker who scored in the corner. The conversion to come from Chen.
Hasn't kicked any yet, and hasn't kicked that one either.
So Edinburgh 12.
So it is 19-15, and there you can see the ball burrowing over the line, and the claim for the captain's try, 3 tries apiece. It is 19-15 as the hour mark is getting closer, and this is rather exciting. Restart as in the way of each other are Morrison and Akinjobi, but it is with St Andrews. One or two were thinking if a kick or two went over, it might have been in front now, but they have worked their way back well. But they are in their own 22. Not willing to kick it clear. Eventually, though, I think they will. Cameron Lynn found the boot of Gregor, and well, they're going to let it bounce. Burnside, though, has time and space.
A counter attack on here, Cam.
Smith. Well stopped, though. Alex White amongst the couple of players in there to defend.
You can see there's a bit of space down this left hand side. Penalty. It's the same penalty as the first half. Credit to referee. Going past the ball, sealing off. Similar to the first half, sorry. A sealing off penalty to St Andrews. There's 1 or 2 players down in backline for St Andrews University. Jamie Morrison, the hooker, getting treatment of what looks like a knee. I think it's maybe Scott Burnside for Edinburgh University as well.
Yeah, he ran into his own player. Did Jamie Morrison from the kickoff to try and get the ball back. But looks like it should be okay. But very much a slowing down trend. We're getting some decent rugby when the ball is in play, but a few injuries and tired bodies.
Yeah, it's understandable, isn't it? We said that we followed a similar trend last year. Kind of in around this hour mark, it's a really big effort needed from these players. But we've had an update. It was Adam Causer, who was number 12, who was injured for the University of Edinburgh. It's precautionary neck injury, so it's all the process. So it was precautionary. Dave Pughes, the doctor, who's a hugely experienced doctor, with the national age grade teams with Glasgow Warriors for a good number of years, and he said that Adam's talking. He's setting up his talking in great detail about what happened and how it happened. So he's fully conscious. He will be checked over in hospital, but it's great to know that he's talking. He's up. He's certainly conscious, full recollection of what happened, but it'll be a precautionary check on his neck.
Good news. Well, we did pick out that both centres went off at the same time, and one of them probably was one of the injured players. So Adam Causer, the one that getting treatment elsewhere, but good to hear that mostly is just a precaution. So the prop there has went off. Jamie Morrison of St Andrews still limping around. So coming on is Hector McLean, the geography student. It's a National Shield final winner a few years ago, age group level. So he's won 1 or 2 bits of silverware as a youngster, but now looking to try and get St Andrews the lead, help his side. 1 or 2 handbags going on in there, and looks like Sam White involved straight away with a little bit of a conversation.
Getting told to calm down. Often happens when you get the guys who've been frustrated sitting on the bench for 55, 60 minutes. The last ringing messages in the ears from the coaches is go on, make a difference, bring the spark. And sometimes you just get a little bit too excited.
Yeah, changes filtering on now. Nicholas Brimacombe will see part of the front 3 now. The South African for Edinburgh University. Coming away with it there at the back is Burnside. As the side in green, who have had to put up with a bit of pressure over the last 10 minutes. There's been stop-start, but they do get a penalty, which will relieve that. But it has been a good face for St Andrews Edinburgh University, looking to try and build on just a bit of possession again.
Well, it's the looking back at it, the 27th minute was when Edinburgh last scored a point. 3 unanswered tries since then, and this is the period we keep saying it in around the hour mark where your decision makers, your leaders, your key players really have to try and take control and guide your team around the field. A big part of that becomes discipline, so you don't want to concede too many penalties. The penalties are a great way for the team winning the penalty to dictate the tempo, dictate territory. So the first message from your leader should be, listen, stay clean, no penalties, keep your nose clean, and then try and really marginalise those errors. There's a throw there from replacement hooker Toby Woods, not going straight from Edinburgh University, and it allows St Andrews their chance now to control the tempo and control the game.
Hour on the clock then, and it is 19-15, 4-point game, which should hopefully lead to this conclusion, which could well be rather exciting, could well be dramatic. The scrum not working out though. St Andrews are happy they'll be back in possession, but just need to try and reset things. And this is a time of the game where there has been a whole host of changes of players in the front row and elsewhere. So just looking to re-gel with each other, both sides.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? That's where communication becomes really important. We've spoken about the role of leaders and the communication, and they're saying, and it sounds always, but saying the simple things and repeating the simple things, little technical cues or motivational cues you can go to just to pull the team together are really important. See Kaufman being replaced now. Sorry, is it Phillipson?
Yeah, Phillipson.
Tight head being replaced. Try score earlier on. He had a game he can be proud of as well. Carried really well on the loose. Won 1 or 2 penalties in the scrum as well, but his day is over for now.
Yeah, that and the corker of a pass between the two profs in the first half, that was a highlight as well. Yeah, absolutely. Miles Keane is on, but at the other side, the far side, St Andrews now baying for a bit of blood. Rob Lind taking the carry into the Edinburgh 10 metres almost. Akinjobi goes over that line now. McGregor, good hands again on Sutherland, couldn't get the pass he wanted, and it did go forward.
Yeah, it's unfortunate from St Andrews there. When you get to this point and you're tired, your body gets tired. I suppose that the default is to attack really close to the breakdown, a one-pass play. But if you're brave and have enough courage to try and move that ball a little bit wider, you'll find so much more space to attack, and that's exactly what St Andrews University did there. They got the ball to the edge, they found a bit more space, but then the error came. If you can, again, back to your leaders, your kicking game and your kick chase becomes really important, but also as that extra pass now and again when the defence gets tired. They're quite happily making tackles really close to the breakdown. If you can force the defence to make those tackles a bit wider out where there's more space, you should get the reward.
So Small Edwards, very safely done for Wallington, who, as we picked up on early in the second half, different routine, a bit more of a kicking action instead of keeping hold. Still with a narrow 4-point lead, but it is back with St Andrews, who are going to have to go from deep. Kaufman perhaps going to leave it here, and does. Driving in is White, third varsity for him. Cameron Lind across, there is White again. McGregor across for Rob Lind. Chen, and now space on the far side is McGall. Into the Edinburgh 10. Getting in the way each other a little bit there, Stephen Tew and Hodgins. coming in against White. Well, they're doing well to just build their way forward here. But, curse of the commentator.
What a great turnover that was by Harry Ryan. Stripped the possession. And Edinburgh, you can see the changes in it come.
Here's Walker, though. Walker, a great run here. And almost back to where they lost the ball initially, but they've lost the ball again.
Yeah, it's just Roland Walker's dangerous. Scored that third try as a captain. He's been physical, as you say, so he's dangerous as a handful, isn't he? But the ball's gone forward again. But just before Walker's kind of introduction there, you can see the change in tactics from Edinburgh University. They're putting boot to ball much quicker. They're working hard in the kick chase, and they're trying to clear the lines, get the territory. They are winning the game, obviously 19-15. So they don't need to chase it in, they can control it and almost force errors from St Andrews. So there's a clear change there, but the possession was won back by Harry Ryan, stripping. I'm not sure who it was who carried the ball, but it was a real classic open side strip, ripping the ball free in the tackle and moving it away.
Heading towards the final 15, intense one here. The crowd's enjoying it on the far side. Just taking their time here, Edinburgh. Small Edwards. Kick down from Walton, and Hitchens on the chase, but Chen there is charged down, and chance here for Smith. Can he get away from the tackles? Not quite. He has support there, and Ryan. And could this be a smash and grab try? Gibson, so much space out wide. Surely it's going to be in the corner. There is Stainer, and there is the try in the corner. And from the mistake, that was punishing from Edinburgh.
Right, for Edinburgh, number 22, Joe Stainer!
Yeah, Edinburgh. Exactly what was said. The kick came from the first phase. The chase was exceptional. Kelvin Chen's kick was charged down, but then he did wonderfully well to get back and make the tackle on his opposite number, Bruno Smith. But then the composure and the quality of the passing from Edinburgh University, moved the ball left to right, and Joe Stainer dives in. He took the space that was offered to him in the outside channel. He dived in at the corner and gets Edinburgh's fourth try. That came from a quality kick chase, and some really good passing and handling skills. Good finish by Stainer off the bench to score in the right hand corner.
So then, 24-15 conversion to come. Joe Stainer, geography student, watched on probably amongst that lot last year behind where Wallington is as a fresher, having a couple of shandies, and now scoring a year later at BT Murrayfield. That is a story. And here is the chance for the extras from Wallington. Looks a decent kick. Flags go up, and St Andrews Revival is it over with 13 minutes to go. There is still time left, but the gap now is 11 points.
Here's the distribution, left to right, tight head prop in the middle of it, John Gibson, and then here watch when Stainer gets the ball. He sees the space between the two defenders. Mughal sliding, as is Richard Derome, and then Stainer takes it and goes hard at the space between the defenders, dives over in the corner, and that is a fantastic conversion from wide outside with Wallington to make the score 26-15 in Edinburgh's favour.
So is there any response then for St Andrews? Has this been the confidence lifter? You mentioned it just before the score, Chris, that was it, 27 minutes, but there is a charge down at the other end. Back it comes though with Edinburgh, who do have a player to hold it, but right in the bottom of that I think is Wallington. Now in sorts of pressure, but they did have a couple of covering players back. So here is the next phase of pressure from St Andrews perhaps. It is with Edinburgh though. And they may well be looking for Wallington to kick it clear in a couple of phases time. Or perhaps one phase time. Well, it's not the best of kicks, but it is a safety kick on the 22.
Yeah, he gets off the field, doesn't it? And it was good, you know, it's clever play again. Charges don't just happen. Yes, the kick was a bit low, but I bet St Andrews and their coaching staff had identified exactly what we were saying. Edinburgh are kicking more, so get pressure on the kicker. And they're rewarded with a charge down. It was actually Wallington got back and saved the day, and then obviously cleared his lines. But good technical and aggressive play from St Andrews to pressure the kicker.
Pressure throw for Hector McLean in his first throw, and it's been given away, which will help the Edinburgh cause. Bit of a jiggery pokery. Brimacombe being told to get out of the way as they clear with Wallington, but not out of play as Walker has space. Danger man. Fainted the pass a couple of times, but in the end confused himself, and Edinburgh will get it back from the knock on.
Yeah, just forcing it a wee bit there. Owen Walker is one of the guys you don't really want to kick to. As we keep saying, he's a physical ball carrier. He's a good attacking player. Scored a try already, but at that time I just felt as if he was a wee bit indecisive. There was space ahead of him, and there was players outside him, and he kind of almost run laterally rather than that distinctive straight hard running we've seen earlier on in the game.
So Cameron Lynn, I think, has went off there. The opposition scrum half, Jimmy Kelly on, just putting the pressure on, but Small Edwards' feed was good. Clear again. Very different routine now for Edinburgh, but it's picked up with Chen. Absolutely bruised down there by Friend. And there is Kelly. Chen with it back. Crashing in McLean. Akinjobi doesn't look tired at all. Will continue to try and run his way through, taking any player that wants to come up against him. And hold on there, and Akinjobi on the floor, I think now, and there'll be another stoppage penalty at St Andrews.
Yeah.
Finally been defeated by a tackle.
Yeah, he's carried well, hasn't he? He's been so abrasive with the ball carrying. He's came out with 1 or 2 turnovers as well. And you can see that the Edinburgh team have just got that little bit momentum back in the game here now. They're clearly kicking as a tactic. That time it was Bruno Smith who kicked from the first phase. Another excellent kick, really well covered by Kelvin Chen. He's had a lot of work to do, Kelvin Chen, at fullback for St Andrews. He picked it up, he was hit hard from the impressive Friend, and then it just means that Edinburgh can then get their defensive line and try and force the header from St Andrews. The key thing for Edinburgh now is keeping their discipline. We said in the first half, if you give too many penalties away, it allows the opposition to wrestle the momentum back. So David Adamson's message will be, keep doing what you're doing from an Edinburgh point of view, but keep your discipline, don't give too many penalties away. And from Scott Lawson's message to the St Andrews boys, I'd say just keep doing as you're doing. They've got a lot of courage in what they're trying to do. They're moving the ball well. They're avoiding that one pass play that the defence ultimately want. But they just have to respect possession, keep the ball a little bit better in the outside channel, and they've got players who can cause a lot of damage.
More players being changed around for St Andrews. Looks like it is the end of the afternoon for Kelvin Chen. I see Archie boys, I think, and William Simon. Looks like both of them coming on 21 and 22, and Chen one of those two that's making way. And that back line, and a big, I think, handshake from Scott Lawson, particularly to Chen, who has worked his socks off in that back line. So as the throw in here, the other player incidentally that's went off for St Andrews, Rich Jerome. It's taken though by Edinburgh high up there, and kicking away from Small Edwards, which does have 1 or 2 chasing, and has to be left there by
really
Walker.
Good game management, Cam, isn't it? I mean, we keep going back to the same point, but it's exactly what your packy forwards want. Having won the turnover at the line out, getting up in the air, winning the turnover, and then the kind of astute player, your half-backs, that time with Small Edwards at 9, just dinking the ball over the top. The left winger of St Andrews wouldn't be there because he's expecting the ball to be won at the line in an attacking position. Really astute play from the 9, and it's keeping the pressure on St Andrews.
Spilled by Stephen Tewin, and they are going to be turning over, and they're going to go for the scrum. They had the choice there with the knock on and the line out, so it's actually going to be with the side in blue before the knock on. So the first knock on from Edinburgh, and that melee of the line out. And now the penalty has come, and time ticking down. St Andrews looking to get down to the other end, but Akinjobi has different ideas and motors on, looking at the space across at the far side. Held up though by Oscar Ryan. Trying to keep this going here. Comes a ruck now though. Not many players getting out of the way, but the work and the tackle and the good job there. I think Oscar Ryan will get plenty of the claim down there as the ball will come back for his side.
It's exactly how Edinburgh University want this game to go as we go into the last 10 minutes, the last 7 minutes almost. They're in the St Andrews University half, and they're quick on their feet, they're making a tackle, they're popping back to their feet, they're putting pressure on at the breakdown, and ultimately you're trying to, St Andrews' best bet is to kick, but you don't want to relinquish possession. Good management again from the experienced leaders and the green jerseys.
Out to Wallington then, and now the space opening up through Harry Hitchens going. There was players out wide that took it on himself. Small Edwards might still have time here to find the teammate that he wants. Looking for the cherry on top of the cake. Eric Masterson, the Swedish international, just came on in the second half. Back it comes with Wallington. Trying burrow through, away from McLean, through McLean. Oh, dummy there from Small Edwards, very good. And support is around. They're just a metre short of the line. Small Edwards. In comes Burnside. Super stuff defensively, but will they hold out here, St Andrews? Are we going to see the match win and try? There's Wallington, flung out there for Oscar Ryan. And can they get there? It's Harry Hitchens. And well defended on the floor there is McGregor. Not giving up yet, St Andrews. Crashing across is Martinson. And held up there.
Wow. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's some cracking rugby being played. Edinburgh doing everything to try and get over the line, but take a moment to appreciate the St Andrews University defence. 3 or 4 times there, the ball's over the line and driven back in the tackle. It was McGregor who made the big tackle out wide. There was 2 or 3 pick and goes from Edinburgh University close to the line that were repelled. 75 minutes into a game, an early game in the season, on a massive pitch here at BT Murrayfield. Huge credit goes to St Andrews University for the defence. We'll have to keep on defending here because it's a really good opportunity for Edinburgh to launch. The last scrum, we saw Harry Hitchens break clean through. Let's see what will come here.
Still looking for this. Another try here. Small Edwards away with it. Wallington found Hitchens, looking to add to his tally. Scored the opener. White is going to try and get this one over the line again through hooker by crook. Using the forwards. Harry Ryan. Small Edwards might spot the gap. Here's Wallington, still stuck in that 5 metre magnet. Burnside. Oh, and that pass doesn't come off. Showboat didn't work. Walker in the road, and now perhaps a counter. Roblin to Mughal. Kicks. And the whistle goes. And a yellow card for late challenge, I think, in the middle of all that.
Well, I think it's Arthur Friend. Mughal's been dangerous. That's been a great battle on that outside edge between Mughal, who's attacked and defended really well. And we're off again with St Andrews University, looking to move the ball wide on his right hand side.
Through they go then. Here's Syme, one of the substitutes, help from his other sub that came on, boys, in that back line. Kelly. Gregor tried to pop one up. Kaufman still on. That's a big shift from the German prop with Scottish heritage. Akinjobe. Mughal has been really stopped as the games went on excessively. They're coming in as McLean. Might not have the time to win this now, but they're looking to finish with the last say, perhaps. Miles Keane did well in the middle of that. Now can they pick out some space? Here is Boys. Counter-attack on, but comes back, and the disruption from Hitchens. So they're back just inside the Edinburgh half now. 2 to play. Walker still going. And again, McGregor wasn't too much on that. It was very stationary, that pass. Picked back up fortuitously by Keane. Pace not quite the same as it was earlier in the game, understandably. As picking up once again is Mughal from Boys. Still stuck in between the halfway and the 10. And wonderful stuff there, still got energy. Scott Burnside, the North Berwick medical student. Still it comes with St Andrews, who do have a penalty coming. So penalty to come. I'll get your thoughts on man of the match in a second, I think, Chris. Just see how this ends up.
It's non-stop.
They aren't going to kick out to touch and take a throw in on a line out. As here comes Walker. Walker trying to go himself. Needing a bit of help, but he's going to be taken out to touch. And still has energy in him and nearly went all the way.
Well, Roland Walker, was looking for his second try. He was a candidate for man of the match. There's been some fantastic performances in both sides. I must admit, some excellent play, but for me, the man of the match, Royal Bank of Scotland Varsity man of the match today is number 7, Harry Ryan, in the Edinburgh jersey. He scored a try. He's been a nuisance at every breakdown. He's been physical in tackle. He's won turnovers. Exactly what you want from your number 7. So today's Varsity man of the match is Edinburgh University number 7, Harry Ryan.
It's a tough one to pick. There's been 2 or 3 terrific performances from both sides.
Well, you could almost name everyone. Bruno Smith and Arthur Friend in the back 3 for Edinburgh University have been excellent. Harry Hitchens scored a cracking try. 9 and 10 outstanding for Edinburgh. Hodgins for University of St Andrews. Walker scored. Mughal's played well. So many to choose from, but it's Harry Ryan who gets my vote.
Stadium clock is about to go into red, so hopefully the referees is in the same boat. Edinburgh University just holding on and just dragging forward. James Small-Edwards, they're offside here. James Small-Edwards kicks it out, and that is game over. And once again, it's Edinburgh University who are the winners of the Varsity for 2018 here at BT Murrayfield. It was a far closer game. It didn't look like it after 27 minutes, but St Andrews really came back into it. And a terrific performance for them to get back into it. It's 19-15, but a crucial score from Joe Strainer in that second half really edged things forward. And in the end, the best side got the job done in the end, Chris.
I think so. I think certainly the most experienced side. Their half-back combination guided them well around the field. When they lost momentum, they wrestled it back, Edinburgh University side, but credit must go to St Andrews University for the determination to get back into the game, and then some of that last-ditch defence on their own line in the second half. 4 tries to 3. The only try in the second half for Edinburgh University came from Joe Stainer in 66 minutes, and that was the moment really where the game was it swung back towards Edinburgh University's control. Some really outstanding performances in both sides, but I think the most kind of controlled team, the most experienced team, have come out in top 26 points to 15, and that's Edinburgh University.
The crowd are going to enjoy this one tonight. I'm sure they're all going home to go and watch Edinburgh tonight because they're playing in the Pro 14.
I am. 7:35 Edinburgh play Leinster over in Dublin, so we'll look forward to that. But the supporters and the students and the parents and the staff of universities are really, really important. This isn't just about the players who get to take the field. It's the support staff, the coaches, the universities as their institutions, and the parents as well. So one thing that's often spoken about in sport is celebrating success. It's important that you do celebrate success. So success for Edinburgh and their victory, but the success for St Andrews and some of the display and the improvement they made. So yeah, there'll be a few sore heads tomorrow, but from a spectacle point of view, really, really entertaining, enthralling game. Lots of physicality. We wish the guys who've left the field with injuries well. I'm sure they'll be well looked after. and I'm no doubt we'll see this fixture at BT Murrayfield again next season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it really has taken on. It came back in after 50 odd years in the wilderness. It came back 2011, and it was played down in London, but it's brought back up to Murrayfield, and we've seen, I say, 10,000 more or less every year. And it's a different kind of atmosphere because it is predominantly all students, particularly on that side. It probably gives a crowd of maybe, it feels like double that.
The atmosphere is cracking, isn't it? And the noise and the roars are good. But the product's good. The product has to be good to promote that, and the strength and conditioning, the physicality of the players, put them in a position where they can, show their skills. It used to be maybe a university fixture would often be, dictated by the fitness of the teams. Now these guys are top notch. They're fit, they're strong, they're conditioned well, which allows the product to be better. A lot of good decision makers, a lot of good rugby players in there. Obviously, a lot of intelligent people as well, and the values of rugby. Keep it together. It is an amateur game for these guys. It's an amateur performance, but it's professional in terms of their attitude on the field and what they've produced as a product.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned that, Chris, but obviously this is amateur, but the kind of system they're in at university, the amount of training they'll do and stuff, it's not far off kind of what they're doing, sessions and stuff, to the professionals.
Well, exactly, and I assume some of these guys will maybe hold ambitions of becoming professional players. There's one or two that have had international experience. Certainly a few names in there that I've worked alongside in Scottish age grade teams over the last 3 or 4 years, and maybe some that we'll see in the future as well. But the primary role as the students, it's student rugby, it's a student experience. Talking to Scott Lawson earlier on in the week, he said, listen, this is it's not performance rugby, it's about student experience, but that doesn't mean you're not committed, that doesn't mean you're not totally and utterly committed to performing and doing the best you can. And we go back to the standard. Last year, I think after about 60-minute mark of the game, it did peter out a little bit. It ended up 31 points to 7 to Edinburgh University. That was a tight encounter, fought right to the bitter end, again highlighted by the level of commitment and defence on both sides in the final 2-3 minutes.
The presentation is just in a few minutes, so we're going to stick around and watch that live. But for, I guess, looking at the kind of pitch we've got here and the game we've had here, and the students that might be not regular watchers of the game, there's going to be a few big games happening here in November, and we've you might have seen some of the promos. The internationals are not far away. That heatwave seems to be long gone now.
Exactly, yeah. It's the professional season as well underway. As is the club season as well, tennis premiership with the club games and the championship and all the way down through the leagues. And there's more to rugby than players. So if some of these supporters here aren't players themselves or don't play for clubs need young blood in and around their club, whether it's administrators, whether it's coaches, whether it's helpers or volunteers. And if they get the rugby bug, some of these supporters who come here and they then go and join a club or a team or a school, then that's another success of the day.
Man of the match, as you picked out earlier, Chris has been given his award, but it was a tough choice. Could have given anyone kind of the man of the match award, really.
Yeah, I mean, some games you commentate involved, and it's a struggle to find the man of the match. Sometimes it's a struggle because there's not too many players put their hand up. Today was really difficult because there was so many in both sides that put your hand up. Running through again, I mean, I think for University of Edinburgh, Arthur Friend did really well on that right wing side. Harry Hitchens scored on the left wing. The half-backs, James Small-Edwards and George Warrington, took control of the game and dictated their pack around. The back row as a whole, Burnside, Ryan and Captain Ed Russell were outstanding, but it was Harry Ryan for Edinburgh who I gave the man of the match to. For St Andrews, we keep going back to Man Walker and his physicality, try scorer. Kelvin Chen did well at 15. Mughal, the other winger, was industrious, was tough, was hard, was good in attack and defence. Kaufman played 80 minutes as a loose head prop. Phillips in the tight head prop scored a try. Alex Hodgson scored the first try for University St Andrews, and TJ Akinjobi carried and defended. So it's a pretty long list for candidates for man of the match. But Harry Ryan, I think, for me, is exactly what your 7 area is, and your screen just in the middle, limping over to join his teammates to celebrate success after picking up his award. But he epitomised what a quality 7 and a great 7 does. He's involved in everything. He linked in attack, he won turnovers, in defence. He's a tough hitter. He scored his try. He was part of a dynamic back row, and I think he was outstanding.
I'm glad we got the prop forwards union mentioned. I'll talk for them. You mentioned them, Kaufman and Phillips scored the tries because the backs got a lot of glory. So a couple of terrific prop forward performances. As the players, as we say, you see the Edinburgh Uni players just across there. There's the St Andrews players across. There's a good bunch of them sticking around as well, taking the applause, taking the adulation for a performance which, 26 minutes, 19-0. We thought it's going to be a long way back. Just could not get any ball, could St Andrews. And then when they found ball, particularly in that sort of half-hour mark, they got a few minutes, scored. And then in that second half period, they had a good 10-15 minute spell where they were really pushing to take the lead in the game.
It takes courage to do that when you come. I would imagine as underdogs. Speaking to one or two of the guys downstairs early on, it was assumed that St Andrews were the underdogs. Whether the players believed that or not, I'm not sure. But then when you go 19-0 down and you've not had possession, you've not had your hands on the ball, you're staring down the barrel a little bit. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of effort to wrestle the game back like they did, and they deserve really good credit for that. Still had the opportunity to turn the screw and win the game. I still think right up until about the kind of 55-60 minute mark, the momentum was still with the University of St Andrews, but it was Edinburgh's quality at 9 and 10 and the decision making to kick and chase well that got them back in control of the game. But for the University of St Andrews to come in potentially as underdogs, go 19 points down and face that uphill battle is a difficult thing to do. It takes courage, and they did it really, really well. A lot of these players will hopefully be back here next year playing again, and they'll use that experience to try and guide them through it. I'm maybe making the assumption, but it looked as if Edinburgh had that little bit more experience across the teams, and maybe that depth from the bench to execute what David Adamson was looking for. You can see the Edinburgh guys there getting pretty excited. They're trying to, the staff here at BT Murray are trying to focus them, to cajole them to get up and get the trophy. I think they're more interested in celebrating, but it's important for them to get their hands and lift the trophy. And we'll see Ed Russell, their captain, lift the trophy in the next few minutes. It looks as if we've got them in orderly fashion, and we'll get the trophy lift for you in, well, hopefully the next minute or so.
Yeah. I think on paper St Andrews, their starting team is very similar to last year, but Edinburgh, I think a lot of players experienced of playing last year, winning this tournament, winning this trophy I should say, and they're going to do it again after a long hiatus, after the 4 years where St Andrews were, I wouldn't say dominant, I guess dominant on paper winning the trophy, but the results weren't dominant, and I think we're about to get to the point where they're going to pick up this trophy. They've had plenty of high fives at the other side where friends and maybe mates are across, still a few of them sticking around. I say in front of us down here, it looks very much like family members and close friends. I think they're the ones not out for the party tonight. I think they're the ones that just...
Not yet.
No. Well, they might now if a lot of them are here that are loved ones of the Edinburgh players. But talked about the importance of the university game. That these sides have brought forward so many internationals. Edinburgh 55. St Andrews are not far behind. They've got over 20 now. I mean, even in the squad itself, we think of reading a bit this week with Eric Martinson, who came on for Edinburgh. He actually plays for Sweden, an emerging nation, but plays international rugby, absolutely loves it. Captain the youth sides for Sweden, but he was like, I can't wait to be playing under the lights of BT Murrayfield. Well, last year's final was a bit later, so it was under the lights. It was under the natural sunlight which we've had here today.
The lights are on, Colin.
Yeah, though they are now. Yeah, but that's a player is already playing international rugby for Sweden, but is now on the big Murrayfield stage and loving it. Absolutely was looking forward to it.
Well, that's a draw of the international pitch here in Edinburgh. Let me see, finally, the Edinburgh University guys are going to get their hands on the trophy. Captain Ed Russell will come up last and lift the trophy. I think that's Arthur Friend at the front, leading the troops up the stairs. It's a pretty tight space here for the trophy presentation. You see the beaming smiles. Brimacombe, the reserve hooker, a big old smile on his face. There's George Wallington, who keeps saying controlled the game very well at 10. It was a kind of old head on young shoulders there. Technically good as well. This is where they'll get shy. Nobody wants to get into the front, shuffle in behind.
They're almost getting themselves in the air.
Harry
And
Ryan with his man of the match, and next to him,
yeah, and obviously very
Is-
sporting St Andrews there, clapping as well, down on the sidelines. So, taking a few minutes of celebration, but they're now in position. Trophy is around. We're going to have to go for a bit of a hide and seek Crystal Maze route to get the trophy. Is Ed Russell taking over captaincy of this side as of this year. It was Nick Stephen last year, but now it is Ed Russell who makes his way back round interview. And for the second year in a row, Edinburgh University claim the varsity spoils here at BT Murrayfield. Lift the trophy in the air in the sunlight in the evening here at BT Murrayfield. Chris, thanks very much for your thoughts. It's great to have you with us. And well done to Edinburgh, the double today. The women winning 49-0 earlier, and the men winning 26 points to 15 here in the men's varsity. From all of us here, it's a very good evening.